Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining in tonight. We got a fun Sunday edition of a live stream, and I'm really excited about this one. Been following this gentleman for quite a while on YouTube and on Instagram, and it's fun. Like I said, we were just talking backstage for a little bit, and it's still kind of surreal for me, but it's so much fun to be able to have these chances to get to connect with some of the people that you follow, ran into in chats, or commenting on their videos, to get them, talk some movies, collecting, and whatever else pops up. So I was very excited that we were able to get this worked out. So I'm not going to waste too much time here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring out. We got Austin St. Pierre. How we doing?
Good. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. Like I said, it's a fun Sunday night. We were talking earlier. It's been, I think it's a common theme for a lot of people where things are busy but good, and
Yeah.
just kind of a nice, calm evening, and
Yeah.
get to have a little conversation.
What better way to wrap up a weekend than a live stream with a friend, right?
That exactly. No, I think that's absolutely a perfect way to do it. So, I know, like I've said, I've been following you on YouTube for quite a while. And I'm not always as vocal as I'm trying to get better at that, but like we were talking about being busy, sometimes you're listening or watching videos while you're doing
Yeah.
other things too. And then you
Yep.
don't always get really good about going back and, commenting, just be like,
Yeah.
hey,
I try to do good at that, but I usually I got my watch later list and I just let the videos play, and
yeah,
I often forget to go back and comment, so I try to make a point certain times to do that.
yeah, I do that a lot as well. But like I said, I've seen you out quite a while ago. So about how long have you been out on YouTube?
I started my channel in it was October or November of 2018, so it's been
Okay.
about
Yeah.
5 years or so now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I'm still new rookie to the whole
hmm
thing. So, so
Yeah. Still
still
figuring it
figuring it
out.
all out.
Yep. Yep.
But so, yeah, so 5 years been going with that.
Yeah.
I know I see you on there and on Instagram. You seem pretty active on it. And,
Yeah. And I really haven't changed too much in those 5 years. I mean, I feel like I've gotten better at doing YouTube stuff, when it comes to the quality of my videos. Obviously, camera shyness is pretty much gone now after that
I
long.
still work on that one.
Yeah.
But that's a kind of or at least that was a decent hurdle for me. I don't know
Yeah.
about you.
Yeah, it was for me too, because I watched a lot of like tutorial videos when I first
Yeah.
started of like, your camera presence and how to get over that shyness. Because I'm a generally pretty introverted person, so
Hmm.
it was definitely something that, like, while I was excited about the idea of doing something like a YouTube channel, I was still nervous about camera presence and stuff like that. So I watched a lot of videos about it, and I tried to just jump in head first, and I just like you've probably seen, every time you do, you just get more and more comfortable.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's just that repetition, keep
hmm
on going through it and going and
Yep.
doing it.
Yep.
So no, I glad you're here to join in on this. And I know we got some people out in the chat, so I might run through some of those just real quickly, just to see who's all saying hello and
Yeah.
see what's going on, and we'll jump back into it. But we got what's Johnny watching? Johnny saying, "What's up, cool kids?" There's only a handful of things that would interfere with my Criterion binge, and it's Corey. Wow, I
Nice.
feel very important
That's a good
right now.
statement right there.
Thanks, Johnny, for jumping in here. We got Guy, Caveman Movies and More, saying, hey, Johnny, saying hi to Johnny. So thanks for jumping in, Guy. Movie Hunter, evening, everyone. I'll kind of run through some of these, but it's fun seeing everybody just saying, I love the interaction. We were talking about this. That's kind of I
Yep.
got hooked on the live streaming thing because you get
hmm
this instant gratification
Well, no
with it.
matter how long you do the live streams, there's always that nervousness of will anyone watch, right?
Yeah, okay. I honestly, every time I hit go live, like I'm like, I just hope somebody shows
Yeah,
up.
just one person.
I only need one. I'm not being
Yeah.
greedy. I can
Yep.
just
Yep.
one. But I've been very I've been very happy. There's been so many great supporters, so
Yeah.
that's
Oh
been
yeah.
fun. Like this one right here, Holland Oates saying, "Hey, Corey and Austin." So thanks for jumping out. And you were saying hi. I can never. I have to do that as well when I get on live streams.
hmm
I always find myself chatting with people on there
I
too.
figured I was backstage. I might as well say hi.
Might as well, yeah. Get something, have something to do. We got Tiana in here saying hi, everyone. Thank you, Tiana. We got Magic Hands in here saying what's up, everyone. We got Laren in the house saying Wilk Austin, good evening. Thank you, sir, for jumping in. And then we got a bunch of back and forth. if I miss anybody's comment, it's not on purpose. I'm just trying to run through these really quick, and then I'm still getting good at it, or trying to get good at it.
It's a
But I love
balance.
seeing, yeah. Saying hi to each other. We got Jess in here, Library of a Mood Reader. Jess, thanks for jumping in, saying hello. Austin, you have a pretty cool Instagram.
I
Tiana
appreciate it.
saying.
I try to do something a little different. Like a lot of people showcase, the movies in their collection and stuff. So I try to showcase, what I'm watching and stuff, but give a little bit of a behind the scenes look on some stuff too.
Yeah, that's fun, and it's a nice place to promote your YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
content
Yeah.
that you
Yeah. I
have
put
going
my
up there
videos on there,
too.
but I also, just
Hmm.
share, kind of the day to day life of what I'm watching and checking out, share recommendations, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, no, absolutely. It's there's a lot of things I'm watching you do since the time I've been following you, and I know I'm probably relatively new still. Like I didn't know 5 years ago, but I see you experimenting with some different things, and
Hmm.
that's cool, and that makes me want to dig into things some more too. Like whether it's
Yeah.
you're editing a video or some of the equipment you decide to upgrade to
Hmm.
try to make your presentation just up the level a little bit,
Yeah. Hmm.
go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
have you found that that's been a fun experience to go
Yeah.
through and work
Yeah,
on
it
those
has.
things?
I like kind of like playing around with different things. Like I remember telling you when I got that gimbal around Christmas
Yeah,
time
yeah.
last year about it. I haven't used it too much recently, but just playing around with something like that. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law, they got me kind of like a teleprompter that I
Hmm.
could use for some of my
Oh,
videos.
yeah.
I haven't had a chance to use it yet. I'm trying to find kind of the right thing for it. Something that's maybe a little bit more like of a long form type thing I think would be
Sure.
good for it, where you need more of that script structure type thing. So
Yeah.
just trying to find the right place to implement something like that.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I've seen some things, but I've never messed with it before. But
Yeah, it's a very like basic one. It's like, the old reflection type
oh
thing of
yeah,
it on a piece of glass. But
but it
yeah, it's
works.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, I've messed around with it a little bit, but I haven't used it in a video yet.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll be interested to hear what you think about it. But
Hmm.
uh Holland saying hi to Jess. We got Jeremy St. Pierre in here saying
That's my
hi, everyone.
brother,
All right.
a
Well,
fellow
thanks, brother.
collector.
Oh, great.
Yeah, yeah,
No, that's awesome.
yeah.
So, does your brother dabble in the social media at all, or?
No, I've tried to encourage him to once in a while, but he's pretty busy himself. So
No,
we just enjoy the fact that we're both collectors, and it's one of the many things we get to talk about.
I was gonna say you have a
Yeah,
partner in crime there
yeah.
that you
We
can
have a
talk
pretty
to.
equal size collection, both of us,
Oh,
and
that's
very
great.
similar taste too, which is cool.
Well, cool. Well, Jeremy, thanks for dropping in. I was glad to see you around here, man. We got Jared Runner in here saying howdy there, fellas. Thank you. Let's see who got. I'm going to kind of run through the hellos back and forth just real quick, and we'll see if we got anybody. I don't want to miss anybody that's been jumping in because I know, like right here, we got Mika in here saying from Double Feature Podcast saying hi, everyone. Mika and Kira are our phones. That's the thing. So as I'm running through here, so I don't forget, and I want to hit it again, but what, promote yourself a little bit, like where people can find you. I know obviously I tried to
Hmm.
put in the description your YouTube and your Instagram
Yeah,
link, and
yeah. I'm most active on YouTube. I try to post a video once a week, sometimes twice a week, and then on my Instagram as well. Like I said, I post when I'm watching stuff just to recommend what I'm watching and whatnot. And then I do have a Facebook page as well. I'm not as active on that as Instagram, just because it's a little bit more to manage. It's easier just to snap a picture and throw a caption up there on Instagram.
yeah, yep,
And then I'm pretty active on Letterboxd as well. I know you've gotten into
yep,
Letterboxd recently for movie reviews
trying
and
to get
stuff.
better at it.
That's one of my favorite kind of like movie social media type apps. I really like that one a lot.
It's been fun to get used to. I mean, or to dig into it some more.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
last year, I pretty much just was dipping my toe in the water a little bit
Hmm.
and just
Yeah.
logging what I was watching.
Right.
Now
Hmm.
I'm trying to put some star
Yeah.
ratings with some
Yeah.
things. And
Yeah. I try to review, to like star rate and review everything that I watch.
yeah.
I feel like that's a cool way because it's something that you can look back on when you like rewatch a movie, that kind of thing.
Oh, sure.
I know one of my good friends that also uses the app. He would only write reviews the first time he watched something, and I kind of
Okay.
was like, well, you should review stuff like every time you watch it, because like your opinions change on a movie,
Oh,
every
sure.
time you watch it, that kind of thing, and you can kind of look back and see how your opinions might have changed over time in multiple viewings and stuff like that. So he started doing that now too. So it's a
Well,
fun way to kind of challenge each other.
yeah, that would be interesting because there's sometimes you watch a movie years down the road
Hmm.
and your life situation could be a lot different, and the movie
Right.
hits you in a lot different way. You know, like
Yeah.
we were talking earlier, my kids are much older, but like when there's certain movies you watched when you were single or married before kids, or
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you watch them again after you have children, you know, or your different life situations,
Yeah. You have
it can
different
hit you.
perspective and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, cool. I was going to run through here. We got Tim in here from Tim Talks Hockey saying hi. So thank you, sir, for
I
jumping
love
in.
Tim's new room tour video that he posted.
Oh man, he's got the
He's got one of the most
crazy
impressive
collection.
collections.
Absolutely. I tell him that every time he puts, because it's not just movies. Like he's
No,
got,
all this stuff. He puts the most work into it, I think, of all of us.
well, the statues, the
Yeah.
posters, the
hmm
autographs,
Yeah.
the movie props,
Yeah.
and those new
He,
shelves
he
that he
he
put up are
invests more
awesome.
into his collection I'd ever feel comfortable with, but I'm glad someone does.
It's so fun to watch
Yes.
somebody have that.
Vicariously live through him.
Oh, absolutely. And he displays it so well
Oh
too.
yeah. hmm
Like it's
You can tell he cares. Yeah.
yeah, no, he put some thought in behind it.
hmm
So no, very cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for jumping in
Keep it
here.
up, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. Mindy Graves saying, that's me. I'm the
I'm the
sister-in-law.
sister-in-law.
Well, sister-in-law, thank you for jumping in here. I appreciate it very much. Just jumping through here. We got a lot of hellos back and forth. So I love it. Keep going, everybody, but don't get offended if I skip past one, just so we can kind of spend some equal time between the chat and Austin and I talking here. But Tim was saying, I can feel the love from you guys. It's true though. It's
Yeah.
he's a gentleman, and I was lucky enough to meet in person one time.
Nice.
So it was very cool to do a little movie hunting with
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
and some
Yeah.
of
I
the
enjoyed
other
those
crew.
videos, that huge bunch of group you got together.
Oh, that was a good time. That was one thing I wouldn't have anything against it, like ahead of time, but it's just nothing. I just didn't have that in mind when I started diving into some
You
of
never
this.
would have thought I'd go that far. Yeah.
No, but I'm glad it did, because I met some really great friends along the way here. So, all right, saying hi to Tiana was agreeing that Letterboxd is so fun. Yep. Johnny was saying just subbed to both Austin's accounts. There you go.
Thank
Cool.
you.
I would say that everybody, you know, like with no matter what the channel size, sometimes we get in little circles, and sometimes people might love your channel, but they don't come across your channel for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I would say absolutely go out there, sub to Austin, check out his content. I've been following him for a long time and really enjoy it. And hey, it doesn't cost you anything. Go check it out, and
Right.
you
Yeah.
might find your next favorite.
The small
channel
channels
right
are
there.
fun because you always get attention. Like,
Yeah.
you're always going to actually feel like you're getting a genuine response out of someone.
Yeah,
I still try to respond to like every comment I get.
Yep, absolutely. I try to do that all the time. Sometimes the notifications don't come through right away too.
Yeah,
so
it's funky sometimes.
I feel kind of bad because I was like, oh, I got a comment. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that
Oh, that was
like
3 days ago.
Yeah, exactly. I've had that happen before, and I'm like, I'm not ignoring you. Please don't leave.
Yeah.
We got Gizmo in here saying, I'm here, so now we can begin, Corey. And welcome to the guests. Yes, you are welcome. Welcome. That's a good friend I've gotten to know pretty well too. He's in he's in Norway.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So early morning hours for him. I don't think he ever
Yeah.
sleeps. He just watches movies and stays awake all the time. All right. Saying everybody's saying hi to each other. Let me skip through and just see. We got Jane Doe Latte in here saying, hey everyone, hope you're all having a great evening. We are. And thanks for joining in here. Yeah, saying hi, mom. She's a lot of our honorary mom. So it's a good friend, Jeff. His channel is John Doe Juggalo. He does on YouTube, and it's his mom, but we kind of lovingly call her mom.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
fun.
Yep. Everybody saying hey to her. We got Anthony in here saying, "What's up, gang?" Anthony's Horror More. Thank you, sir, for dropping in. All right, I know I'm running through these really quick, but we got Texas in here saying, hey, everyone. Hey, Tex, what's up, man? And Caveman was saying 20 watching, 11 likes. Please hit the like button. Yeah, cool. If you feel like it, go for it. I appreciate it, though, guy, for throwing that out there. Saying hi to each other. All right, I'm getting better at this. So I think I am to the end there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to jump back in when some things come through, but I'm going to put a pin in it for just a moment. I'll star that one. So All right, you got your great collection behind you. We've been talking about it, and I know in lots of different videos in the past we've commented back and forth on, things we're watching, things that are going on. How do you feel about your collecting, where you're at right now in 2024? Do you feel good about your collecting habits, where things are going?
Yeah, I feel pretty happy with it. I remember, if you remember a couple months ago, I did the like no buy
Yes.
months for
Yep.
like a month.
Yep.
And I think I almost did that again unintentionally last month just because there really wasn't like a ton coming out. And I'm to the point now where I've kind of like picked up enough from the catalog of stuff that I want to get from my, childhood growing up and stuff like that, that there's really not much left from that time period that I feel like I need to add to the collection still. So it's kind
Okay.
of like new stuff going forward kind of thing. There's always new remasters and stuff coming out here and there and whatnot, but I'm pretty happy with where I've gotten my collection to, that I don't feel like, I'm constantly still catching up on stuff here and there. And I mean, I'm up to like 750 titles in my collection at this point, so
That's
it's
great.
not it's not anything that's like small that I feel like I have huge gaps and stuff like that anymore.
And yeah, when you have that many movies, you got to be covering a lot of different
Hmm.
areas.
Right.
And and that's one thing. So I had that thought go through my head too, where I was like, maybe I should just, push the brakes a little bit and
Hmm.
on the purchases, dig into
Yeah.
my unwatched pile. And then I saw your video come out, and it's just kind of funny
Hmm.
when those things click. And I was like,
The synced up. Yeah.
that was a great idea. I completely, and
Hmm.
so I followed you pretty much on June. I
Yeah.
kind of took a break,
Yeah.
but where I felt like I failed, we were talking about how busy we've been. I just didn't dig into my unwatched
Yeah.
pile as
You just didn't
much.
buy stuff.
I just didn't buy stuff.
Yeah.
So
Which is, that's a mental break, right?
yeah, well, and that was whittling down uh,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
unwatched of the
Yeah.
collection. But I had such, I set a level. I thought I was going to get through a lot more movies
Hmm.
than what I did.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I have a small stack of like what is it, like a dozen movies over there on one of these shelves. Those are just ones that I haven't seen yet in my collection that I'm just chipping away at here and there. But when I did my complete 4K collection a few months back, that was the first realization I had of it, of stuff that I needed to just catch up on, because it was all stuff I had seen before, but I picked up that 4K as an upgrade and then just never really watched it, kind of thing. It's like I wanted it to have it in the collection because it's one I wanted the best version of, but don't always take the time to go back and watch it when you get it.
well, and sometimes I think it's a reality check too when you start going through your whole collection like that, and then you
Hmm.
start coming across like, oh, I haven't watched that one, or
Right.
I haven't
Hmm.
watched that one.
Yeah. Which is what gives me an idea of like, well, maybe I should slow down some.
Yeah, no, I'm still like that too. So like, so June, I pretty much didn't bring much of anything in, and I was
Hmm.
like, oh, I'll do that. And I still, there's some things I really want to go get, and I'll do that, but I think I'm going to be on a lot slower pace here just for a
Hmm.
little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe through the
Yeah.
summer and see kind of where it
Yeah.
goes. And
Yeah. Like, cause I like doing the haul videos to both like show off what I'm getting, but I
yeah,
also like to like go back on it for my own reference of what I'm getting up. So I noticed like when I would look back at a lot of my haul videos from last year, on average, I was probably adding, I don't know, 10 to 12 titles a month or so to the collection.
yeah,
And it was just like, how much of those am I actually watching in that month for like
yeah.
is the new releases and stuff, where like if I'm not going to watch it anyways, I might as well wait a few months for the price to drop on it some, or maybe get it secondhand somewhere, that kind of thing.
No, absolutely. I won't go through all the chat right now, but I saw, if I see a name pop up that hasn't been in here yet, I might just say hello, but then we'll
Yeah.
go through the rest of the chat later. But I saw Mark jump in here, saying hi to everybody. So Mark, thanks for jumping in here. But yeah, no, it's yeah, it just opens your eyes a little bit when you start, or at least for me, when I started going
Hmm.
through just looking across the titles and
Yeah.
then figuring out which ones. Well, I have two different scenarios. So there's some that I just have never watched at
Hmm.
all. I
Yeah.
bought them on recommendation or it was a good sale,
Yeah.
never watched it. Or other ones where there's a cool new release that comes out and I get it. It's a movie I've seen, but maybe a long time ago, but I have not
Hmm.
rewatched it since buying that new
Right.
upgrade. So like a
Right.
4K comes out.
Hmm.
So one of those is Aliens.
Hmm.
That was the Cameron, 4Ks.
Yep.
I got all excited about
Yep.
those coming out. I know you talked about them some
Hmm.
as well,
Yep.
but I haven't come back and watched it since I
Yeah,
since I bought
I've
it.
watched the Aliens one. I haven't watched the Abyss yet, which is funny because that's the one I was most excited about.
Okay, yeah.
And I haven't gotten the True Lies one yet. I didn't grow up watching True Lies, so I don't have like a ton of nostalgia for it. But I
Yep.
do really like the movie, so I do want to get it at some point because it's the best way to watch it over the
Mm-hmm.
DVD. So I have watched the Aliens one. I really liked the Aliens one. It looked good, sounded really good,
Good.
and I'm excited to check out the Abyss one at some point.
Yeah. No, I went and did all three of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to at first, but I
Well,
think
and then
we
they
all.
were so hard to find too. So it was
Yes.
like makes you nervous of like, well, is this thing going to go out of print?
That's exactly what happened to me
Yeah.
because I was like, maybe not. And then they went out
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, well, I just missed my chance. And then they came
Right.
back in
Then they came
stock
back. Yeah.
and
But it
I
took like
bought
a
all
month.
three of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I bought all three of them at that time.
Yeah.
So I've only watched True Lies out of them. And I
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen all three before, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm just saying. I buy that. I know it's going to look great. And I bought it for that reason, but just haven't gotten back around to watching
Right.
it yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So like talking about, we obviously watch a lot of movies at home. Do you have a big preference about, if you could watch a movie any way possible at home at your theater you got set up or in the theater, like going out to a movie theater?
I'm really kind of indifferent to it. Previously, I might have said movie theater, but now that I've got enough finances on my own to be able to put in like a nice system, it's nice to be able to enjoy it from like a quality video and audio's point of view. But I mean, if I have the chance to go to like a really nice theater or something, I definitely pick that over my own collection. But having, I'm sure, as kids and stuff now too, you just can't get out as much as you used to. Like I used to go to the movies by myself when I was in college back in the day, and it was nothing wrong with that. I enjoyed it. It was great.
I would do that all the time.
Yeah.
And there was always, we always had a bunch of older, we had a lot more theaters at that time as well. A lot of them have closed down over the years, but there was a lot of them that we would call like the second run theaters. So after the big nice theater had that initial run of a movie,
right,
and the new ones come out, the small
yeah.
theater would get it, and they would usually have it at a discounted price.
Right.
And
yeah, you can go in for like $3 or something like that, or $1.
Yeah. And there were some that even like there was a day it was $1. It was $1 to go in. And so there was, streaming wasn't quite as big at that time for me. So I saw a lot of movies multiple times in the theater because of that. Because you're thinking $1 to $3.
Right. Yeah, you can't beat it for that kind of an experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you don't stay for the whole thing, if you already seen it a couple times. But.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so talking about that, do you have any movies that you've watched multiple times in the theater that like any that are probably higher on your list of the most times seen in
not
the
a ton, because I'm not usually like a multiple times in theaters person. Partially because of how expensive it is these days.
True.
And then just the time commitment as well. The ones that come to mind, the first one that comes to mind is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I remember I did see that one twice in theaters when it came out. That's probably been one of my favorite movies. I'd probably put it in my top 30 or so of my favorite movies. I like that one a lot.
Cool.
There was another one. There was some comedy that came out back like in the 2010s that I saw a couple times. I forget what it was, but I really don't do it all that often.
Yeah. I didn't
Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, because that came out the same weekend I got married. And so I went to go see it with a bunch of my friends for the bachelor party.
Oh, nice.
And then my wife was jealous because she was excited. She loves Wonder Woman. And so we
you
went to go see it like after our honeymoon when we got back.
So that's cool. So was that your first movie after you were married to go see together?
Yeah, for seeing together. Yeah, it was Wonder Woman. Yeah.
So that's cool. You got that for a memory now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. We were talking about that on a stream not too long ago, where sometimes you have a lot of great memories tied up to some experiences in the theater, going to see the movie.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. So now that's the first one as Mr. and Mrs. You went and saw that movie.
Yeah.
But they were asking on ours, they were asking if we remember the first like movie we went on a date with our spouse, at the time when we were dating. And with my wife, it was Jerry Maguire. I remember.
Yeah.
Theater. I'm older. So
yeah.
But it's fun to have some of those. But do you find yourself doing that too? Like you can watch a movie and be like, oh, I remember like that.
Yeah, I usually attach it to some event or person, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And because of that, my kids as well, I can remember a lot of the first movies taking them to. Some were good experiences.
Yeah.
some were
Yep.
not as good because you think it's going to be a fun one for them and they end up being
Right.
scared by it or
Yeah.
something. But
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, we took my son to see Trolls 3, the Trolls Band Together movie,
oh
because
yeah,
our local theater did the free summer movie series, so you can
oh
go
yeah,
in for free, and
oh
you can just
cool,
buy the snacks while you're there and stuff. And we were like, well, he's 2, so he might not make it through the whole movie. So like, this is the perfect time to do it. He likes the Trolls movies anyways, so let's just give it a shot and see. And
yeah.
he made it through most of the movie. I think we only left like 20-30 minutes early. So
Oh, nice. That's a
yeah, so it went good. He really enjoyed it. It was funny. We laugh about it because we got in there and we sat down and he's like, "Where's the remote?" I'm like, "There's no remote for this, buddy." And he kept
yeah.
asking throughout the movie, "Where's the remote?" I was like, "Well, technically they got it back there by the projector." So it was cool because I mean he's old enough as a 2-year-old that he's starting to understand stuff.
He's
So I'm
putting it
telling him like,
together.
"This is the screen here. They got the projector up there
Yep.
that's going to show it and stuff." And even when we left the theater, because we tried to leave quietly, he's like, "We got to turn the TV off." I'm like, "No, we'll leave it on for everyone."
They want to watch it too. But
Yeah.
it's funny. Yeah, wait for him to ask if he can pause it quick so you can go to the
Yeah.
go get some popcorn or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I so it's kind of funny where when they start associating things like that. And I remember my kids, so they were growing up when streaming started getting a lot bigger, and we would do that so we could just put something on and they could watch it. And I remember the first time they were in a situation where they were watching a movie and it had commercials come
Yeah.
up in it,
Yeah.
and they were like, "What is this?" Like,
Yeah.
why are you interrupting my movie? And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny when they just hadn't been exposed to it at
Back
that
before you
time.
could pause live TV.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So they were just used to putting the movie in and watching the thing through and
Yeah.
and going from
Do
there.
you still remember the first movie you ever streamed, like on Netflix or something like that?
I don't. I do remember I had one of the original Roku boxes. It was a pretty big, solid square box, and
Yeah.
I remember to this day when they retired it too. They just said we're not supporting it anymore. You
Yeah.
got to buy a new one, cheapy.
Yeah.
But I remember we had really slow internet, and but I thought it was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Because I'd always done Netflix where it was the mail
Yep.
DVDs.
That's what we did. Yeah.
And
We
the
had like 3
Blu-rays.
discs a month or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And you load up your queue, and as soon as you sent one
Return
back,
one, they send you another one.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'd get the next one in your
Yeah.
little lineup that you did.
Yeah.
I did that forever. And then when they started
Yeah.
doing the streaming, I tried it out. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. You can do it like
Yeah.
right away. But I still remember I would put a movie, like click the movie, and I would go grab a pop and some popcorn.
You'd have to wait a while.
Yeah, it would be loading
Almost like
up.
dial up.
Yeah. It's like you're downloading it. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, now it's a lot different. And thankfully we have a lot faster internet, but that's
Yeah.
all we do anymore.
Yeah.
We're out in the country, so it was a dish, but we cut that a long time ago when we
Yeah.
got the faster internet.
Yeah. My wife and I, we've always been all streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find it as a great tool to watch a lot of things that I don't know necessarily I'd want to spend the money to buy.
Right. To rent or purchase or something like that.
But do you ever find you use it as, so there's some you're going to buy. So we're talking about the Cameron movies. You're like,
Right.
I know them.
I
love 'em.
know I'm going to pick this up.
I'm
Yeah.
getting it. But then do you have any that you're like, I'm gonna hit that on streaming first, and then I'll decide whether
Yeah.
I want to actually.
Yeah, I do
purchase
that
it?
quite often. It's a nice way to trial something for, you're already paying for the service. So it's nice to trial it on there, see if you're going to want it, and then pick it up later on.
Yeah. Well, and man,
But sometimes if it's a good deal, I'll grab it just for, take a chance on it.
yep, I've had some of those too, where it was.
There's always that nice feeling when you blind buy something, you check it out and you're like, wow, this was great. I'm glad I bought it and now I own it.
Yeah. What was? Oh, Walmart just had. Now it's been my days all blurred together, so it's probably been a little longer ago than I'm thinking. But they had a couple Blu-rays that were pretty newer, and they were throwing them out for like $7.50.
Okay.
I think it was Dream Scenario was one with Nicolas
Okay.
Cage.
Yeah, I
And-
think I saw that one drop in price. Yep.
and Priscilla. And I ended up grabbing both those, and I haven't watched them yet. So that's where I was getting guilty of
Okay.
like it was just a cheap price, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll
like,
try
take
it.
a chance on it. Yeah.
But then
I haven't
watched
seen
it yet.
Priscilla. Dream Scenario is weird. It's really weird.
I've heard it's different.
It's weird. Yeah. I think it went to like Prime or something, and that's where I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah. I
That's
don't know
a
if it's
problem.
still on there, but I think that's where I checked it out.
Yeah, I probably should have waited and done something like that.
Yeah.
But no, that's great. So when you were talking about, at home, you've been building onto your home theater And
Hmm.
you were posting quite a bit when you had some pretty exciting news where you were like adding some
Right.
new
Yeah,
equipment.
updates and stuff like that to it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always fun. And so how have you been enjoying that so far?
Oh,
The
it's been
upgrades that
great.
you've
I
done?
love it. Yeah, I enjoy it thoroughly. So I ended up, what I did is I finally committed to like, hey, I actually want to put in kind of like a nice sound system for my theater. So I committed to saving for, as long as it would kind of take for what I wanted equipment wise. So I kind of picked out two or three different options of
Right.
different build types of, how many speakers I would want, that kind of thing, and figured roughly how much that would cost, and then just decided to commit to, you know, taking that money that I'd normally spend on movies and other stuff and whatnot and putting it aside each month until I had what I wanted for. And then it worked out that when I wanted to get the receiver that I got, I waited for it to go on sale for Black Friday. So got,
Right.
like $50 off of that or something like that. And then just saved up for the rest of it and ended up pulling the trigger on it. And I've not regretted it once. So it was definitely worth the time I put into it, because I ended up saving up for it for nearly a year, just setting aside a little money here and there for it.
Well, you don't get yourself in trouble, like
Yeah, I don't just go and drop, a bunch of money on something and have
right.
to explain it to anyone.
Yep, and you really think about it, and I think you just maybe you just appreciate it that much more because you've
Hmm.
been looking forward to it for that
Right. Yeah,
period of
for so
time
long. Yeah.
and finally get to have
Yeah,
that.
because I
So,
had one of those home theater in a box
oh
Blu-ray
sure,
players
yeah, yeah,
before, where I think it was like a Sony 3D Blu-ray player, and it was nice, and it had five speakers and a subwoofer to it, and it was enjoyable for the time that I lived in. We lived in like a small apartment and then a duplex, and
it's
obviously you
perfect
can't
for
have
that.
anything
Yeah,
bumping very much in a
yeah,
place like that. So
that's perfect
now
for
that we
that.
had our own place and I actually had a room that I could use to put all the movies in, I was like, all right, now I got the room to put all the movies and the memorabilia in. I want to actually have a nice system to enjoy those movies in as well.
Oh, that's awesome. And do you find like so after you've gotten that, do you find you're inviting, like your brother loves movies you were saying,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
friends, or having them
Yeah.
over to be like, hey, you guys got to come watch this movie?
Yeah, yeah. During the school year when my wife is working, because she's a teacher, most weeks, once a week, I'll have a group of friends over and we'll watch a movie, and I'll usually try
That's
and show them something. So yeah, we all work kind of like funky schedules, so it's
yeah,
perfect that literally we get together on like Tuesday afternoons and all watch like a movie before we go to work, and
that's
it's great.
awesome.
We love it. Yeah,
Oh, that's a great time to do that.
yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, it's fun to have some, yeah, with some people that just love the movie
Yeah, and they
and
love movies, but there's a lot they haven't seen, so I get the gratification of, like, introducing stuff to them and getting to, like, watch them experience it for the first time. Like, I showed them, like, Aliens for the first time, the first Alien for the
yeah.
first time, just a lot of like, The Matrix. I got to introduce The Matrix to
Oh,
somebody for the
yep.
first time. Like, it was awesome. I love it.
So do you get like I personally do, but do you get a pretty good kick out of when you introduce a new movie that they're like, "Oh, I may have heard of that or I haven't, but
Mhm.
never seen it," and they end up loving it, and then
Yeah,
you're just
I
like,
try to
"Oh,
show them like, yeah, like not only the classic stuff, but like some more obscure stuff that they might not check out. Like I like a lot of like martial arts stuff and Korean thrillers and stuff. So just
oh yeah,
stuff that would not have been on their radar at all, but just to get to show it to them for the first time.
yeah." You're throwing out Korean thrillers. Like a lot of
Hmm.
those have been something that's been newer in my
Yeah.
watch list
Hmm.
in probably the past 2 years. I'm
Hmm.
just dipping into that, but I know we've commented, and you have a great video out where you were running through some of your top Korean
My favorite
thrillers.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's fun to get some of those suggestions because you just like I just never ran
Yeah. And
across them.
it's almost always stuff that's not on your radar, even if
Yeah.
you're like me and you're getting into it and enjoying it kind of thing. And even if you have seen a number of stuff.
Well, and it's not something that, or at least around me anyway, it's not something that just pops up in the movie theater
Right.
around me.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so it's just something I just never had access
Hmm.
to. And then
Yeah.
it's cool when, so have you had a good reception with your friends for when you were like
Oh
throwing some
yeah,
of those
yeah. I
Korean
got to
thrillers?
show them. Let's think. We watched Parasite, which was the popular one
Oh,
from a
yep.
couple years ago from Bong Joon Ho,
Yes.
and then what was another one? The Man from Nowhere. You've seen
Yeah.
that one. I think you
Yes.
got that 4K for that
Yes.
one.
Yep.
So it was like movies like that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of some others.
I remember a big one. One of my first ones I really dug into was Train to Busan.
Yeah, I love Train to Busan. I got to show them that for the first time. They'd never heard of it.
So whether you throw that in the same camp, I know what horror
Hmm.
thriller or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but but yeah, no, there's so many. that's the thing. There's so many movies you can dig into. Like,
Hmm.
it's kind of fun when you get past. I still love just your mainstream tentpole movies
Right.
that you can
Yeah,
see
the
in the theater.
blockbusters and
Hmm.
stuff, that kind of thing.
Still have fun with those, but it's cool to see some things that are they're just got a different storytelling
Hmm.
style than
Right. Yeah.
some of those. But
Yeah, like you watch something like The Gangster, the Cop, the Devil, that
yes,
one Korean movie, like
that's a great one.
you wouldn't see something like that come out of the US and feel the way it does just coming through that Korean culture and the history that's with it. You wouldn't
Yeah,
get that same kind of interpretation. Like the movie, the Old Boy movie, like
yeah.
there is an American adaptation for that one. I haven't seen it,
I
but
haven't
I've heard
either.
it's nothing like the Korean one, and
I've heard
goodness,
this.
that Korean one is quite a movie, so
Wow, I'm late to the game watching that one, but
mhm.
yeah, I don't know if it's an overused phrase or maybe I just overuse it, but there's like some movies that just hit so hard. Like I say, like, oh yeah, that was a gut punch of a movie, or
Yeah,
at the end
that's
or
the
ending,
definition of
or
a gut punch
yeah.
ending.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so another great video that you had that I really enjoyed, and it's cool when you have some movie or some videos that come out and it just resonates where I think it kind of clicks and you're like, oh, I felt that before too and seen it, but
Hmm.
you're throwing out like your one and done type of
Yeah, yeah, the one and dones, yeah.
movies. Um,
With the
so
Iron Claw, yeah.
yeah, and that's one I still need to see.
Hmm.
But my wife, so that's where I was kind of excited. One night she was like, we have Max, the
Hmm.
streaming service,
Yep.
and it's on there now.
That's where we watched it, yep.
Okay. It popped up and she was like, hey, have you heard of this one? I'm like, yeah, why? But I didn't want to act too excited. And she's like, well,
Right.
it looks good. I kind of want to watch it. I'm like, yeah,
Hmm.
I'll watch that one. So we got to
Yeah.
find a time. One night we were going to watch it and we didn't realize you get old and tired. And
Yeah,
there
and
it
you'd rather
was,
go to bed sometimes.
well, we were going to watch it one night and I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it's over 2 hours. Maybe we'll
Hmm. Yeah.
save
Let's
that for
save it for
another
another
night.
night, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So my wife is a lot like me, but probably even more so where if she starts a movie, she wants to finish it. She doesn't
Yeah.
like to split it
Right.
over like going into another night
Yeah, a
or
couple days
something.
or something, yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I like to finish stuff if
Yeah.
I can. I don't
Yeah.
always have the chance to, but I like to finish stuff if I can.
Yeah. No, I'm right there too. Because a lot of times you just want to know how it wraps up, and
Hmm. Yeah.
this wall is
Yeah.
fresh
The
right
only
there.
time I'm a little more willing on is if it's something I've seen before. Like, oh, it's okay. I'll finish it in a couple days or something like that.
Oh yeah. So that's one thing that I will tend to do. Like if it's late at night and I know I just probably won't make it through a movie, I'm tired.
Hmm.
You throw an old favorite on that you've
Right.
seen 30 times before. You
Hmm.
know it
And just
inside and
enjoy what
out.
you get to see of it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you ever do that too much or not, but
Not too much, no.
oh, but I'll do that once in a while where but I know some people will then kind of default to maybe a series. Be like, I
Hmm.
can't do a movie, so I'll throw in like
Just pop on a show, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, all right. I know I've been talking here for a while. I'm going to jump through the chat just again real quickly. Gizmo's always good at throwing out some strange comments, but he's got my dog is asking because Holland is scared to ask Corey, do you like fish cakes? And I don't know, Gizmo.
I've never tried them.
Uh, that must be a Norwegian thing. Sorry, bud. Other people are asking what they are. Johnny was saying, Corey can attest to this. It's so hard to try to keep up with watching what's in your collection. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that anybody that loves movies, whether you collect physical media or love
Or just
streaming,
stream and stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
it's hard to keep up. There's
Streaming's
so much
almost
stuff.
worse because it's just so overwhelming. There's just thousands of things out there to watch. It's
Yeah.
like everyone knows the problem. You're just scrolling through Netflix for half an hour, and by the time you get to it, you're like, I don't even want to watch anything anymore.
Well, and that's true. Or that was like a third of a movie that you
Right.
took
Yeah, I just wasted a third of a movie just to pick
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah. And I found that too. And where I've seen some people doing videos where they'll do like the advent calendar for movies
Oh yeah.
or the October countdown of movies
Hmm. Yeah.
and they'll just write a bunch down.
Yeah.
Maybe they haven't seen
Hmm. And
and
just
just
follow it.
randomly.
Yeah. Hmm. Just draw something. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't think about it. Just pull the title and start
Yeah.
watching it.
Yeah.
I think I need to do a little bit more of that. I think I would get through things a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes I try to challenge myself without like something off my shelf. Like I keep a list on my Letterboxd account of the watch list function that they have,
Yeah.
and you can put anything you want on there, but I try to be intentional with it so that I don't have 150 movies on my watch list. That
Yep.
I only put movies on that list that I have in my collection and that I either want to watch for the first time or have not seen for a while and want to rewatch. So
Yeah.
it's only got like 30 movies on there, so that way it's not like, well, I got 150 movies to scroll through and pick something from. It's like I got these 30 movies that these are like on my watch list kind of thing.
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to try
to be intentional with it.
Yeah.
That way you can actually chip away at it and not just constantly add stuff to it.
Yeah. And waste time trying to figure out what you want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like scrolling through Netflix or something. Like I
Yep.
try to make sure that if I open it for the watch list, I'm going to pick something off of this list.
Yeah. No, I need to get a little better at doing that too. But got Van Gool in here saying hello, just back from being a volunteer at Fan Expo Denver. That sounds like fun. Cool. We got Miss Caveman in here saying hello, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. We got Jess in here saying Train to Busan is fantastic. So that was, and Johnny's agreeing with her. It is, I'll say that's probably the first one I remember where I was usually going English dub.
The dub. Mm-hmm.
That was the first one. I wasn't very far into it. I stopped it.
And you switched it.
Yep. And started over and switched it. And it's kind of funny when you don't know these people, the actors and actresses on there, but it just didn't seem right.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Unless it's through animation, or I can't watch the subtitled version, I'll always watch the subtitled version. Animation, I'm not as picky because the lip sync isn't perfect anyways. So
yeah. No, absolutely. Van Gool is saying streaming TV shows is hard to keep up with all of the services. Yeah. And things switch around too. So that always makes it difficult. Anthony saying hi to everybody. All right, I'm just going to run through here really quick. Gizmo saying I soon gone through all of my 500 to 600 titles I had from Vinegar Syndrome, I'm assuming. Only 35 left to watch, and I sold about 200 of them, so only the cream left, the top.
That's some real curation right there.
Yeah. He's got a lot of movies. He's got a great collection.
I'm always trying to do that once in a while of like, just takes a little bit, look at your collection and be like, is there anything like, I either haven't watched for a while or really don't think I'm ever actually going to take the time to watch that I'd be like, you know what, I'd be fine if this just popped up on streaming and I watched it there kind of thing. I try to be very intentional about like making sure my collection is a representation of the movies, I care about the most kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's something I would like to try to do a little bit better job of doing as well. But I think for the most part, a lot of them are ones that I know I like, or they came from some pretty reliable sources that that I trust their judgment being recommended. But I definitely have some blind buys. Like I said, I'm a sucker sometimes for a big sale, and you get those Black Friday sales. Or
even not a sale. I just got the new Monkey Man movie a couple of weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I knew based on what I've heard about it, it's my kind of movie. So I was like, I'll take a chance on that one. That's worth a blind buy for me.
I just recently watched that, but it popped up on one of my streaming services, maybe Peacock.
Okay. Yeah.
One of those. We have Peacock and Paramount Plus, so I've got to think, but I think it's Peacock. Yeah. I won't say much because but not to spoil it, but I enjoyed it. So I think you have a fun.
I like to check out like first time directors kinds of movies and seeing that, I've watched a number of Dev Patel movies over the past few years and stuff. So it's cool to see. It's always cool when an actor or a director jumps and does something different kind of thing. So I wanted to, check it out, kind of show support for it and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think you've liked movies that I would say, oh, if you like this, you'll like this one. And I've seen some of them that you've talked about that you like. So I think you'll like it. It has some great choreographed fight scenes.
I have a huge appreciation for like stunt work and action, especially in like a foreign style film like that. Something that kind of feels like a John Wick or The Raid or something like that.
Yeah. And so those are great too, that you threw out there that I know you like. So because you like those, I would say it's pretty safe bet.
Yeah, it's pretty safe bet.
You'll have a good time with this one. So, that's one I haven't picked up, but that was one I was thinking about grabbing, and I hadn't watched it before. But then that was one that popped up. I saw like I said, think it was Peacock. And I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
got the streaming service. It's right there. I
Hmm.
might as well
Yeah.
check it out first before I
Yeah.
just
And it's cool that
buy
that
it.
one got a physical release too, because originally that was just going to be a Netflix original movie. And then
Oh,
I
really?
heard Jordan Peele watched it or heard something about it and loved it and came on as a producer. And that's why it actually went through, the film festival circuit and actually got a physical release too.
Yeah, that's cool when they have
Yeah.
somebody that can champion it like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so maybe it hit a lot better because it had that
Yeah.
theatrical run
Yeah.
for a little
And it's
bit.
like, Jordan Peele's got a good eye for talent. So if
Oh
he's gonna
yeah.
champion something, like I'll at least give it a chance and check that out. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, he's just not going
Yeah.
to stamp his name
Yeah. I
on.
think Jordan Peele's a
Yeah.
safe bet.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll feel good about that one.
Hmm.
No, I can see
Yeah.
that one for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Van Gool is saying, speaking of directors, I did meet Eli Roth
That's
this
cool.
weekend. Oh, that's cool. I've never really met anybody famous, I guess, director,
Hmm.
actor
Yeah, me neither.
wise.
I'm not on that side of the country.
Yeah.
Or to
Well,
really go to like expos and stuff like that for it.
well, that's what I don't really have a lot of those around me, but I'm always jealous of people that have their videos and are posting things of some of these expos they go to and the meet and greets and the, photo opportunities or
Hmm.
it's kind of crazy some of the people they get to run across, but
Yeah.
I just don't get those around me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Maybe it's a good thing because it also can be a pricey
Oh yeah. Pricey
hobby.
venture. Yeah.
But so I know we were just hitting on it earlier, going in, but you're one that I heard dive into more of the Studio Ghibli
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
movies, and that's something I still haven't gotten into as much. But I don't want to overstep, but that's something you do
Yeah, I
enjoy.
do really
That,
enjoy. There's still a lot of their movies I haven't seen. I've mostly focused on the Hayao Miyazaki movies because I
okay.
think they tend to be considered some of the best of Studio Ghibli movies. He's the one that's done some of the most iconic ones. That my personal favorites of his would be Spirited Away, and then My Neighbor Totoro, Ponyo, that kind of thing. I really enjoy the movies he does that focus on kind of like the magic of childhood kind of thing. It's just a
Okay.
cool way to kind of almost re-experience childhood through the eyes of a film kind of thing. And I think his movies capture it so well that I really enjoy that. I enjoy a lot of his other more mature films, like The Boy and the Heron is his newest one. I haven't seen it
Oh
yet,
yeah.
but it's one of his more like mature. I think it's like a PG-13 one. So I got a pre-order in for it. It's supposed to come out this week, so I'm excited to see that one
You
as
got that
well.
one
And
coming up.
they always do really cool English dubs for those too. They get a lot of famous actors and stuff like that
Oh really?
for their English dubs and whatnot. Like Christian Bale does a lot of the
Oh
Studio
wow.
Ghibli dubs. He's done, I think, 3 or 4 different ones. And they'll get like Christopher Walken. And then in this new Boy and the Heron one, they got like Robert Pattinson from the Batman movies in it.
Oh yeah.
Just a bunch, like all there's quite a cast, especially for the Boy and the Heron for the English dub. So I'm excited for that as well.
So yeah, we were just talking about the whole English dub and the subtitle thing.
Hmm.
But I'd be interested to go actually watch some of those with
Right.
those are some big names to
Yeah.
be pulling
Yeah.
in for
Yeah. Apparently, like
doing that.
Christian Bale is really a big fan of like animation and stuff like that when it
Oh,
comes to the Japanese stuff. So he's always, because I think one of the first big ones he did was Howl's Moving Castle, and he
okay.
just like loved the movie, so like went out of his way to do the English voice dub for that one.
And
So
how can you turn it away if he's coming out and be like, I want to
right.
do the voice or
Yeah.
the English
Yeah.
dub
Yeah.
for it?
Hmm.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yep. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's done a few of them as well. I know Joseph Gordon-Levitt's done a couple of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say hi to Sean here. Cinephile Sanity was stopping in to say hi to everybody. So thanks, Sean, for jumping in. So I still need to dig into them, but that was one sale that popped up. It was Spirited Away is one that
Hmm.
I picked
Yeah.
up, but I
That's
have not
one of the
dug
most
into it.
popular ones from the Ghibli. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
really good one.
So I was gonna ask you, is that a good starting point, or what? Do you have any
I
that you
feel
would
like it
recommend?
is. I feel like I mean it's tricky because like you don't always want to recommend like the best one, because then it's like, do you recommend the best one and then it's like downhill from there, even though it's not really kind of thing. So
Yep.
it's like I feel like I mean, for the most part, most Studio Ghibli movies are a safe bet just because they're all really unique and really interesting stories and stuff like that. Spirited Away was the first one I watched of the Studio Ghibli stuff, and I don't feel like it messed me up, if you know, as far as my outlook on the rest of the movies.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know I completely understand what you're saying though. Like you can be like, oh yeah, that's the best one to go out for, but
Hmm.
yeah, you don't want to set the bar too high. There
Right.
could be a
Right.
lot of really great ones, but if you start off
Hmm.
right at the top,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jess was saying that they're amazing. I love the Ghibli movies so
Yes.
much too.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still a number I have to go through, but I've probably got 8 or 10 of them in my collection now.
Yeah. So how many of those do you still need to watch for the first time? Or you gotten through them all?
There's a lot. Like I
Yeah.
said, I mostly focus on the Hayao Miyazaki ones. I feel like I've seen a good bit of them. There's a handful I still got to see. The Secret World of Arietti, that's another good one. I think it's kind of underrated amongst the Miyazaki ones. I had just watched that for the first time in the past year. That one's pretty cool because it's about like little miniature, like little people, almost like fairies, but they're not fairies kind of thing. And they just live amongst humans and kind of like live their own like separate lives kind of thing. So that's a cool little story for that one too.
Oh, it's cool. I was just sorry. I always keep a pen and paper because I always
Yeah.
get some really great recommendations
Yeah.
when I get to
Yeah.
talk to people
Yeah.
on these.
Yeah. I feel
So
like the Arietti one isn't always talked about, but I really liked that one when I watched it.
no, that's great. So we were talking about tying in memories with movies, and now you got a younger son. You said you've gotten to go to the theater and have
Hmm.
that experience.
Yeah.
Do you have some movies that you're just
Itching to show
dying?
him. Yeah.
Yeah, to be like, I can't wait till you get to this
Yeah.
age that I
Yeah.
can. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I
do you
think
have any big hitters
when
that
he was
you?
like 3 or 4 months old, I showed him like the Disney Tarzan movie because that's my
Okay,
favorite Disney movie. And obviously, a 3 month old baby's not going to know what's going on. But now he's to the point where he might actually watch that one. So I'll have to show it to him sometime. But
yeah,
yeah, there's a number of like kind of the Disney stuff that I grew up with, and then I've tried to collect some of the TV shows that I watched growing up as well to show him one time. Like I got. Jimmy Neutron, Danny Phantom, Avatar: The Last Airbender, just stuff that I watched in the early 2000s and really enjoyed. That I just don't know where that's going to be streaming wise by the time
sure,
he's old enough to watch them. So I'm going to grab them while I can to show
sure.
those to him as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's kind of fun when you look back at that and like think of like, oh, just ones that hit you at different times in your life and
Hmm.
wanting to be able to experience that and um, see your kid's reaction
Yeah. And
about some of
also
those.
part of nervousness is I don't want to like show them to him too early that he like doesn't
R-
actually like understand it or appreciate it. So it's like
right.
I don't want to pull the trigger on something that I have a ton of like nostalgia and love for where he might not be able to appreciate it very much, that kind of thing.
No, I can understand that.
Hmm.
One, like I said, I was thinking back. One movie, my son got into movies more than my daughter did.
Hmm.
There's definitely some she really liked, but he would go into the movies a little bit more. But one I remember watching with him, he was still pretty young. Man, I got to go back and think of what year that came out. He was in elementary, but I still remember he was so excited he wanted to go see Tron Legacy in
Hmm.
3D when he was
Yeah.
pretty young,
Yeah.
and I still remember going to see that with him. But
Yeah.
he ended up deciding he wasn't the biggest fan of 3D movies
Yeah.
after that, but still
Yeah.
had fun with
I
it.
still remember seeing that one in 3D.
Yeah. So that's always fun to go
Yeah.
back to
Yeah. I
that.
remember when that came out, I went with my brother, my dad, and my cousin. And I was just excited for it because it looked like a cool movie. But then
Yeah.
my dad had us watch the original Tron
Yeah,
before we went to go see it. And I even still enjoyed that. The visuals may not have aged the best, but it's still a cool story and a cool movie. So
for sure. No, I completely agree with you as well. But we got Adrian coming in here saying hello. So, hey, Adrian. We got Kevin in here, movie collector maniac, saying hey, Corey, and Austin in chat. Um, Johnny was saying, great. Corey and Austin has now gotten me looking up Ghibli movies to buy.
there's like 3 or 4 movies that are on my wish list right now.
Okay, the crazy thing is earlier today I saw I think Shout Factory has a Ghibli sale going on. I don't know if
Oh,
it's
do they?
strictly
That's
Ghibli
dangerous.
or maybe it's just anime, but
Okay.
but they have an anime set of Ghibli.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. I don't want to exaggerate, so I'm trying to like look it up here real quickly. I won't
Yeah.
waste too much time.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, okay, it's just anime sale. But they have a bundle. It's the World of Studio Ghibli Blu-ray bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 22 Blu-rays for
Wow.
$299.
Mm-hmm. That's got to
So
be most of the Ghibli stuff, I'd say.
yeah, I mean, I won't read through them all, but a lot you were throwing out, you know, like your
Mm-hmm.
Spirited Away, Castle in the
Yeah.
Sky,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, a lot of them that you were Ponyo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be all of them maybe,
Yeah.
but I saw that and I'm like, yeah, I don't have
Yeah. For
three
someone who's
hundred
just
dollars
getting
to
into it,
drop.
yeah, to drop $300 on something. Yeah.
That's quite a step to
Yeah.
jump out there and do.
Yeah.
But well, cool, Johnny. You're checking them out. They're on some streaming services too. So
Yeah, HB or Max
Max,
has
they
like a
have. Okay.
partnership with
Mhm.
Studio Ghibli, so most of, if not all of the Ghibli movies are on there. So that's how I've first time watched a lot of them to see
Yeah,
which ones I like the most, and then the ones I like the most I pick up the Blu-ray for.
yeah. No, that's a smart way to do it for sure.
Yeah. Kiki's Delivery Service is another one that's one of my favorites of that. It's
Oh,
another kind of childhood one. It's like this adolescent girl who's like her mother was a witch, and so she's coming of age where she's becoming a witch now, and she wants to start this kind of like delivery service of her own business. And so she moves to the city, and it's kind of her starting her own life and kind of just coming of age type story. And that one's really good too.
oh, cool. I just wrote that down as well.
Yeah.
Jess was saying Howl's Moving Castle
Yep.
was my first, I think.
Yeah, that's
That
the
or
Christian Bale one where he plays the main character in that one.
oh,
That
okay,
one's cool. Yeah, that one's cool. I like
okay.
that one. And
That or
Princess
Prince
Mononoke is good too.
Mononoke.
Hmm.
I always want to say that wrong.
Yeah,
But
Princess Mononoke is another one. Like that one and Spirited Away tend to be the most iconic and popular of the Miyazaki ones.
some of the big hitters.
Yeah.
But saying it's been a long time, but no, it's cool. I need to dive into that more. And that's like when I have that service like Max,
They're
well,
just
any
right there.
streaming service. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there, but there's so many other things as
Right.
well.
Right.
So I'm gonna just run through some of these. Kevin was saying I have that Tron Legacy 3D Blu-ray. I do too. Yep. No, it's a good
I'm
one.
waiting for a 4K on that. That would look amazing in
Oh,
4K.
I
I'm sure they'll do it because they're working on Tron 3 now. So
I agree with you, and that is one. Oh, and I'm sure other people have done, so I'm not saying I'm the only one that ever posted this, but I was posting a couple, it's been quite a long time ago, but on Instagram, like, please give me a 4K, you know, of
like
this
a wish
one.
list of 4Ks.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was throwing some out there. Some I've gotten, because I remember throwing The Crow out there, and now we got
That
that.
one's coming. Yeah.
But Tron Legacy was one of them, because I was like, all those neon colors and everything.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. That would look amazing. I mean, the
I,
Blu-ray still looks great, but I'm
oh,
sure
yeah.
in 4K, I don't have an OLED TV yet, but if I had
I
an
don't
OLED
either.
TV,
I don't either. That's where I have a hard time. I'd love to, but they're still not the cheapest things in the
right?
world. And
Yeah. Whenever I finally commit to doing something else in the theater, that's the next plan for the home theater is an OLED.
okay, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
a good.
LG has some decently priced ones, not much over $1,000 or so, which is still a lot of money, but
yeah. You got to just plan ahead for it.
yeah.
That's where I just still have a hard time with my 4K right now. It's older, but it's still kicking. It's still going,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard for me to like to
Justify
go spend
it.
money
Yeah.
on when that one's still going.
Right.
But I know it will enjoy an OLED, but yeah, so that's your one big if you could focus on one area someday in the future, possibly
yeah, it would be to
upgrading.
upgrade the TV. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people absolutely love them, but who knows? I mean, maybe the next big thing will come out and the OLEDs will become
Right.
lower
More available.
price,
Yeah.
because they're still, I mean, I remember when just yeah, they've come down in price so much, but
Right. Yeah.
even the non OLEDs there's some pretty great pictures, I think, on
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah.
But, so do you find you're probably definitely still more Blu-ray than 4K?
Most of my collection's Blu-ray. Yeah. I think I have maybe 100, if that, 4Ks in the collection. So most of it's still Blu-ray. And I only have, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3. I got like 8 DVDs left in my collection. That's it.
Oh, I actually got quite a few in just
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
day.
When I got into collecting like heavily, it
Yeah.
was when Blu-ray was pretty widely available.
Okay.
So I focused mostly on Blu-rays and then got DVDs when they were cheaper kind of thing. And then subsequently started upgrading DVDs to Blu-rays whenever I could. During COVID, that was when I mostly focused on upgrading DVDs to Blu-rays because we weren't going anywhere and spending money
Right.
anyways. So I just, as I went places and found stuff online, just upgraded a lot during that time.
I don't think you were alone. I think there was a
Yeah.
lot of us doing that at the same time
Yeah.
because it was like upgrading, and then
Mhm.
yeah, you'd have the movies at home to watch, and
Yep.
you could hang out
Yep.
with the family. And
And that was
you know,
before I was into 4K too. I didn't get into 4K until Lord of the Rings came to 4K. That was my push over the edge. Is I told myself I don't need 4K until Lord of the Rings comes to 4K, and then it did, and now I'm in.
I was going to say, so I'm glad you brought it up because I know you're a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
And a lot of some of the collections, some things that you have on shelves, and that I've seen you show off in videos before. So would that be a pretty high one when your son gets old enough that you would
Oh yeah,
love to sit down
that's the peak one right there. That's the
that'll
one I
be the
can't
day.
wait the most for. Yeah, I still remember when my dad showed me Lord of the Rings for the first time. So yeah, that'll be a big one for me.
Yep. So that's where you can shake your head at me with a lot of other people where I've now seen the first one.
Yeah, you've started. You're in. Yeah.
I got to make it through the other ones.
Yeah,
And
you started with the theatricals, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which even coming from someone who loves the extendeds and prefers them, I feel like that's the best way to introduce yourself because I feel like the extendeds would be kind of overwhelming. 4 hours each. It's throwing a lot at you.
It's a lot. Even sometimes fitting a 3-hour movie in can be a little bit.
Yeah, they're dense movies, but they're great.
Yes. So I'll say I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to watching the other two. But then I get other things I get recommended, or when I'm been doing some live streams like this or with other people, sometimes we're talking about a movie, and so I need to watch that movie to be able to talk about it, and so that kind of cuts in line.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a movie club when you finish the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Hey, there
That'll
you go.
Fun. Yeah,
and then you can tease me about my lack of knowledge.
Yeah,
a lot of this stuff, but
find out how much you paid attention. Right?
Yeah, right. Well, it's a lot to pay attention to. There's a lot of world building that goes on with that for sure. Kevin was saying, yeah, I have a Google sheet of titles that need a 4K upgrade, or at least need a Blu-ray as they don't already have one, or they're out of print. Yep. Well, put it in the suggestion box. And I always joke, anytime I break down and buy a Blu-ray of something that I've been holding off on, it almost gets a 4K announcement like a month or two later. So I always said I should start a service where people would pay me to buy certain movies on Blu-ray or DVD, and they'll get their 4K pretty soon after that.
It's like you and Ken.
Yeah.
Well,
it seems like it just happens. It's funny. I guess after finishing this film, I will tell the world I am. Gizmo, you're funny, man. I don't know even what movie you're talking about. That's one thing I'm trying to get better about with the chat is following, and sometimes I fall behind, and sometimes it's a comment from something we were talking about a while ago, and I'm lost. But Kevin was saying Tron Legacy is on the list as most of the titles are owned by Disney. Hopefully Sony will talk them into releasing some of those titles on 4K.
I think it's one they'll definitely do, especially with Tron 3 coming.
Oh, absolutely. Adrian saying, I remember seeing Tron Legacy in cinema. Yep. I could see that. It'd be a great, Adrian 53. I'm sorry.
I think you jumped in the middle of a conversation.
I probably did. Sorry. Yeah. I'm good at doing that. So thanks for putting up with me. I always joke I'm still a rookie at all this. So, Johnny was saying, Austin, we've tried to get him to finish Lord of the Rings, and we've failed, like me, to finish them. He's been pushing. Like I will get to it, but it's hard when.
I check in with you once in a while on it, but I try not to pressure you.
Have you watched it yet? Why haven't you watched it yet? Yep. Holland was saying, Corey, you have begun whittling down the Criterion shopping cart. Oh, Yes, I'm not going to buy a lot this time around.
I've only bought one so far. I got the Pinocchio movie, the Del
Oh, I've
Toro
heard so
one.
many people
Yeah, because
talk
Netflix does not get a ton of physical releases, so I was like, I got to get Pinocchio,
support
and I
it.
loved Pinocchio. I loved the movie, so that helps even more.
I have not seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's great.
And the packaging looks pretty cool
Yeah,
with
the
that one
packaging is
too.
cool on it too. Yeah.
So that doesn't hurt. But so yeah, no, I started throwing. I'll go out to like Barnes and Noble site and just start throwing things in the shopping cart, and
Hmm.
with no intention of buying them all, but just kind of like, oh, those are
Yeah.
some to think about. And
Right. Keep in mind.
yeah, I won't be getting a lot this time around, but
I usually only buy a couple, maybe a
yeah,
few.
yeah, I could see 2, 3 tops probably
Hmm.
this time
Yeah.
around, but
Yeah.
there's a
I
few
feel
of
like
them.
the year I bought the most was when I got Christopher Nolan's Following, because that's the only way to
Oh,
get that movie on
yep.
Blu-ray. And then I got Memories of Murder. It's another Bong Joon-ho movie that's pretty good. And then I think it was like Fantastic Mr. Fox. I bought all those at once a few years ago.
Oh yeah, I have a Fantastic Mr. Fox, but
Yeah, that's a great set. I love that Criterion. That's probably one of my favorite Criterions I have.
yeah, no, there's some fun additions that they do on some of those. I was
Hmm.
just talking to somebody though. So like one of them I have is Princess Bride,
Hmm.
and it's kind of the book.
The book edition,
Yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then there's some people who are like, I just hate it because I have my Criterions all lined up, and
Yeah, and it's different.
it's taller, it comes
Yep.
out farther, it's a
Yeah.
different package.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Part of you wants it because it's different. Part of you
yeah,
doesn't because it's different. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, there are some of them that they kind of go outside of the box for a little bit. But
Hmm.
um, I'll be interested to know what's the deciding factor on that for some of those where they don't
Yeah.
do the normal packaging and they decide to go a little bit
Right.
further.
Right.
But
Yeah, I feel like that Princess Bride one's got to be one of the most unique packaging Criterions done,
I
because
think so.
they do their digibooks and stuff like that once in a while, and they obviously have their standard cases as well.
Yeah, and with that Pinocchio that has kind of the fold out with
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
too. And so you said you just got that one for the
I
set.
ordered it. It hasn't come yet.
Okay.
I got
Okay.
it on Amazon because I don't have a Barnes and Noble near me. I'd have to drive like an hour to an hour and a half to get to a
Okay.
Barnes and Noble. So I ordered it on Amazon, but not fast enough that the regular ones went out of stock. So I have to wait like 3 weeks for it to come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was curious. I'll be curious. That is one that I have in the cart right now. Like I said, I have way more than I'm going to
Right, to
buy.
actually buy. Yeah.
But that was one that I had thought about because I've heard so many high praises of the movie itself, and then some people were showing the packaging, and I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
kind of cool too. On
Yeah.
top of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. It's a great movie. It's definitely one of my favorite interpretations of it. And I'm a huge supporter of stop motion films too. So
oh yeah, no,
yeah.
it's fun to. That was one I remember introducing to my. I kind of go all over the place here, but for stop motion, that was one I remember watching with the kids, my kids, pretty earlier on. But I didn't want to do too early because didn't want anybody to get scared. But was A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always had fun with that one.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I never watched that one growing up, but I've seen it since, and it's a fun one. My favorite of the stop motion movies are the Leica films. I don't know if you've seen any of the Leica Studio movies.
So which ones are we
They
talking
got
about
like
there?
Kubo and the Two Strings,
Oh yes,
Coraline, Box
yes,
Trolls, that kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So I've not seen all of them yet. I think there's two or three more that I have to see still, and then they have a new one coming out next year as well.
So I took my kids when they were younger to Kubo and the Two Strings, and my daughter was scared to death of that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. That's one of those like in between, like kind of for kids, kind of not really.
Yeah, well, I didn't know when we went to it,
Hmm.
and I kind of forgot about it. And then they had the
The
steelbook come
4K
out,
Steelbook, yeah,
and
yeah.
so I got it, and I got home, I put it in, and my daughter is a lot older now, and she
Hmm.
walks through the room. She's like, "Yeah, you scared me to death
Still
when we went
traumatized.
saw that movie." I'm like, "What?" And then
Yeah.
I thought about more. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember." But
Yeah.
the sisters in that,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
the sisters, yeah, and then the grandfather at the end, yeah.
Yep, yeah. So I
Yeah,
traumatized my daughter
that's
with
my
that one.
favorite of the Leica movies is Kubo. I like that one so far the most.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
Yeah.
I
I
I
still got to
enjoyed.
see what is it? Um the Missing Link, and then I just watched the Box Trolls a few months ago for the first time, and then Paranorman is the other one I have to see. So I think The Missing Link and Paranorman I still got to see. But that's one I've really liked to loved pretty much all of them so far. So I want to buy all of them because it's, you know, it's only like 6 movies to have the whole collection
Sure.
so far. So, and they all have, if you get the special 4Ks that Leica's been releasing, they all have the same packaging. So it'd be cool to have the whole lineup of all the Leica movies. Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those I still would need to see. All I'm familiar with, but just haven't dug into them. But but Kubo and the Two Strings definitely is it's a good one.
Yeah.
Adrian was saying I bought Aquaman 2 Blu-ray on Saturday. Haven't seen it yet.
I still haven't seen that either.
And
that's another one it's on Max. I just haven't watched it yet.
I know. Yeah, that's the sad thing when you're like, I know it's right at my fingertip. I just have to like hit play. And
like they just put the new Godzilla versus Kong on Max, and I was like, oh, I gotta watch that, and I don't know when, but I want to watch it because it's on there now.
I marked it on my list or what my list or whatever on the thing because it sounds like it'd be a fun one.
I've heard it's a fun one, despite, you know, it's no Godzilla -1, but I've heard it's fun.
Which I finally watched that one, and I really enjoyed it.
That one was great. Yeah, I loved it.
Because that was another one that just came on to Netflix.
I
think it was.
Yeah, I never got out to theaters because it wasn't playing anywhere near me when it was out. So I was hoping it hit streaming or a Blu-ray at some point soon. So I've heard they are going to do a Blu-ray release for it in the US. So I'll definitely grab it when they do.
Oh, I'll grab that one. Like you definitely want to support some of those like smaller,
right? Yeah, especially for stuff that's foreign and whatnot, because you want to support it so that they do more of it. Like I've been getting a little bit more into Indian movies over the past couple of years, but it's just so rare to find an Indian released movie in the US. Without going down like an old DVD or a bootleg route kind of thing.
So the only one I can really think of is RRR.
That's the first one for me. That's the one I started with. Yeah.
I mean, that one got a lot of, is there anything else that has popped up that you're like, oh, that was
there's good. The Bahubali movies are done by the same director. Those are really good. There's 2 of those. I think they're still on Netflix. And I actually just found out there's like an animated prequel series that's on Hulu right now for that one too. I was like, man, that's cool. I got to check that out. So there's a number of them. There's a lot of recommendations that I've gotten from people online when I've talked about the couple Indian movies that I have seen. So it's just a matter of taking the time to find them. And I love watching foreign movies, but it's even harder for me to find the time to do it because it's not really my wife's thing. And when I do it, you have to give it the full attention because I'm going to watch the subtitled version.
Yes.
So you can't multitask, that kind of thing.
Well, and I found where that cuts down me getting those watched as well, because if I'm feeling a little bit tired too,
right. Yeah. You have to be alert.
I don't want to, because there'd been a couple times where I'll throw it in and I found myself having to back the movie up a couple times.
Yeah, because you dozed off or something. Yeah.
Well, or just you just weren't quick, or I wasn't quick enough.
Or you missed something.
All of it. I'm like, oh, I gotta back up.
Especially like Korean movies because they talk so fast and like the Korean thrillers and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I have a little more luck with if they're more action oriented.
Yeah, because they don't talk during the action sequences.
Or not a whole lot, and then they fight for a long time.
Yeah, like The Raid or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love that, but I just got to be awake, and I'll agree too that I'm probably the only one in my house that wants to watch those too. And nothing wrong with that. They have plenty of other things that they want to watch.
Yeah, I can count on one hand the amount of foreign films I've gotten my wife to watch.
I would be in the same boat.
Yeah, and she has enjoyed both of them, so that's a good sign.
Okay, good. Do you mind throwing out?
Yeah, it was Parasite, the Bong Joon-ho one, because that was one that I blind bought the Blu-ray because I heard amazing things about it. So I got the Blu-ray for it and watched it and loved it, and like literally like finished the movie, went upstairs and was like raving about it to her, and she was like, that does sound really interesting. So we watched it together the following night. Cool. We did that, and then I showed her the Godzilla -1 movie.
Oh,
we watched that one. Yeah, and that one was funny because I put it on and pressed play, and she starts hearing Japanese, and she's like, I didn't know this movie was in Japanese. She thought I was showing her the new Godzilla versus Kong movie. I said, no, we're watching Godzilla -1. She's like, it's in Japanese. I was like, yeah, it's a Japanese movie, and I'm not watching the dub. She's like, oh, and man, now I got to pay attention.
Yeah, I know, right? You put the phone away.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that was good. I'd heard, they had such a short release around me. I don't I only have two theaters in opposite directions that are really
Hmm.
kind of close to me,
Yeah.
and they're just not big cities, and
Yeah. I have a
they don't.
local theater like 20 minutes from us. And if I
Yeah.
want to do like an AMC or a Cinemark, I got to drive a little over an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that one got such a short release
Hmm.
in our
Yeah. It was
theaters
like a
anyway.
month, if that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like in December of last year.
I've heard they all had a black and white version of that as
Yeah.
well. I'd love
Yeah.
this. So
Godzilla minus color is what they call it.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I think would be cool is if they did something. There was like the Mist release where they
Hmm.
had the color and the black and white
Oh,
version
yeah.
of the film.
Hmm.
It'd be kind of cool if they got a physical release for -1
Yeah.
and had both
Right.
discs in there that you
Yeah.
can watch them, because
Yeah. I feel
I
like
think
they
it,
will because it was a pretty big movie. I think I
yeah,
feel like they'll do it.
and I think it'd be interesting to watch that one in black and
Hmm.
white.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be kind of fun. But
Oh, yeah.
Kevin was saying I purchased one more Criterion today from Barnes and Noble in store: Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas 4K. That one's kind of a trippy one.
I haven't heard of either of those. I think I've heard of Fear and Loathing, but I haven't seen either one.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, Johnny Depp. He's kind of crazy in that one. So
Yeah. When is he not crazy in a
yeah,
movie,
that's
right?
true. That's true. That's true. Let me skip through a couple of these really quick. Kevin was saying I got my Mean Street 4K and Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid 4K in the mail yesterday. I've heard a lot of people talk about both of those. I have
Yeah.
not
I
seen
heard
either
Ken
one of
talking
them.
about Pat and Garrett and Billy the Kid the other
Yep,
day.
he was. Yep,
Mhm.
yep. And so is Tony, Basement Blues. If you
Hmm.
ever check,
Yep.
he's
Yep.
been putting out a bunch of recommendations for Criterion here, leading up for this sale. But um, Laren was saying, if I ever visit the UK, you're the first person I want to see, Adrian. I always forget you're over there, Adrian. Sorry. It's hard to keep track of everybody. Oh, I missed Larry was in here. Horror Cat Dad. Hey, everyone. Another person I tricked to come on here later on. So get to hang out and talk to him. So Holland was saying I don't watch much animated movies, but Marcel the Shell and Mad God were
I never
enjoyable.
got to see Marcel in the Shell. I keep forgetting about that one. I heard it was really good.
I have that one.
Yeah.
Um, it was good. It
Is
was
that through any boutique label or is it just a regular Blu-ray?
it was
What's that one?
A24.
A24. Okay.
Yep. They, or at least the one I have. That's
Hmm. Yeah.
how they.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's still A24, but I think they do
Right.
have like a more normal like
More. Yeah.
Blu-ray release.
Right. Right.
This
Standard
one
release. Yeah.
was kind of the box thing. I don't know why I
Hmm.
decided I needed to get that, but
Yeah. Sometimes that's what you do.
yeah, exactly. Why
Yeah.
did I do that? But
Yeah.
it was a cute movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those feel-good movies.
Yeah.
Um, saying hi to everybody. I'm not sure if I've even watched Mean Streets before. I did already own the Blu-ray from Warner Brothers. Yeah, yeah. I've heard good things about it, but I have not watched it before. All right. What we got here? We got Larry saying -1 is amazing. Lucked out getting to catch
Yeah.
that in
I
the
wish I could
theaters.
have seen it in theaters. I got a buddy who did. He did get to see it in theaters, and he said it was a great experience.
It would have been a great one on the big screen. I
Hmm.
just, yeah, jumping in there with Raid 1 and 2 are classics.
Yeah. Yep. I
I know
love
you're a
those.
big fan, right?
Oh yeah, those are some of my favorite foreign films, especially the first one.
Larry was saying I didn't realize Netflix had a dubbed version. About -1, if
I think they have both a dub and a
yes,
subtitle version.
it took me a while to figure out though how to switch it.
Because I don't think you can switch in movie. I think you have to select either
Yeah,
one, don't you?
I can't. It took me a second to figure out how to do
Hmm.
it, but it was defaulted to English dubbed,
Right. Hmm.
and then it took me a while to get switched over to be the Japanese original
Hmm.
language and then English subtitles. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But I haven't had to do that too many times on Netflix, so I don't
Hmm.
know. It took me a little bit, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
out there. Got Rich in here, Turner Fan 77, saying hello everyone. Thanks, Rich. Saying hi. Oh, Jess saying have a good night, everyone. Thanks for jumping in, Jess. I appreciate it. So, all right. So we've been talking about movies this whole time so far. If you're not watching a movie, what would we find you doing? like to have fun, hang out, relax,
Probably
or
doing dad stuff with my kid
Yep.
most of the time.
Yep.
Um, and then I really enjoy music too, so I listen to a lot of music, a lot of soundtracks. I like to listen to movie soundtracks and film scores a lot. And then um, when I was in college, I got into disc golf a little bit, and then going through college and just getting married and becoming a dad and all, I fell away from that. And I just got back into that this year. So I've been playing a lot of disc golf lately, and just a fun way to get outside and be active without being too active, kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
So so I enjoy it. That's probably become one of my favorite hobbies again in the past several months.
Well, and it's great to have some activities like that where you get out and get to hang out with friends, family,
Hmm.
whatever. You know, like
Yep. Yep.
you're that's one that you don't usually do. I mean, you can go on your own, but
Yeah. I
usually
usually go with like a cousin or some friends or something like that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I need to be doing some more things like that too. We just kind of had
Hmm.
a crazy, not in a bad way, but we were just talking about busy year so
Yeah.
far, and I just don't find that we've gotten out quite as much as what we normally have.
Hmm.
But no, it's kind of fun. I tried to do that a few times, disc golf with some friends, but I'm horrible.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I'm not great at it, but I really enjoy it.
yeah. So do you have courses that are set up around you that you can
Yeah,
go
I
to,
have.
or
My town has like four pretty decent courses around us, so we just kind of rotate around those once a week or so. And then I have a couple portable baskets that we keep at our house for me to just practice on, that kind of thing. Our
sure?
house has 4 acres, so I have a good bit of distance to
Oh,
play
good.
around with and mess with. So that's fun.
I should do something like that. We have some wide open space at our place too,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
that'd be an idea. I never thought
yeah.
about
It's
that.
nice
Like,
because I can do it while my boy's playing on the play set, so we're both happy.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just
Then I don't
practice
have to
some
find a
shots and
babysitter or something like that to go. So
well, he gets to be outside too.
yeah, we all get to be outside. Yep.
Yep, absolutely. Um, so where do you see? I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but like with your YouTube channel right now, I know
Hmm.
you're having fun with it, and we've kind of talked about. I think we have a similar idea with it, where it's just kind of fun to be able to meet up with some other movie lovers to hang out and have fun.
Hmm.
Do you like where you're at with your channel? Do you think, or do you see things that not that you don't like, but are things you want to try? I know, like we were talking about earlier, you've been testing out some different equipment. You've been
Hmm.
with editing, with some of the ways you film some of your videos. Do you see
Yeah.
anything that you're wanting to try in the future,
I mean,
or
I've
you're
been I've been pretty happy with where things have been at
yeah,
over the past pretty much since I moved. We moved to our new house a couple years ago and got this space. So I've just kind of over those couple of past years, gotten some new equipment here and there. So at this point, I'm pretty happy where things are at channel wise because I'm not like we've talked about. I'm not in it to have a huge channel and have all this equipment and this gear and stuff. Like most of the gear that I have, I've either bought for myself or gotten from family for gifts and stuff for Christmas and birthdays
right,
over the years and stuff. So I mean, I'm pretty happy where the channel's at that way. I mean, there's stuff you never know where you're going to want to experiment and try new things and whatnot. I've always kind of had an interest in trying to do some kind of like not necessarily like making a movie kind of thing, but I've always over the past 10 years or so just gotten more and more interested in just in the behind the scenes of filmmaking. So
sure,
I'd like to experiment with it, maybe like make a short film or something like that. I've written a script for one that I have an idea on, and just kind of I go back and revisit it once every few months and come up with some new ideas for it. So one of these days I need to just pull some favors with some friends and see if they'd help me shoot it kind of thing, and just have some fun with it and see where it goes.
oh no, that'd be cool. I
Yeah.
I wish I was
Yeah.
creative enough to dive
Yeah.
into some of those,
Yeah.
but well, I know you.
Just a way to challenge myself to do something different. Like I've
Yeah,
appreciated movies for so long, and then I've begun to get more interested in the behind the scenes of what goes into making a movie. So it'd be cool to like challenge myself and actually try and do it sometime.
yeah. No, I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
So, is that something you'd put out on your YouTube
If
channel
I
if you?
do it, yeah, I
Yeah,
would put it out on my channel. Yeah, I wouldn't keep it private.
yeah. No, that'd be
Yeah.
cool to see that
Yeah.
for sure. So,
Yeah.
oh heck, you could get a whole lot of content out of that too. Even like the other day we were on a live stream. We were talking about how much fun we like watching some of the behind the scenes extra
Yeah.
features on
Right.
movies, and if you
No, I've
just
thought like if I do it, I want to like have somebody like film us
like
making it
document
kind of
it.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've actually just through the writing process of it, of writing the script for it, almost filmed myself talking about the creative process behind it, because I was like, well, I don't know what I'll do with this, but let me just film kind of the creative process for it, maybe to like put out there to inspire some people. So maybe I'll, like you said, throw together a little documentary of how I made my short film kind of thing one day. So
Well, kind of like make it the content go even farther.
right,
You
yeah,
know, like if
yeah,
you're
like
gonna put all that
here's
work
this,
into
here's
it.
that, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Um, how do you feel like you're going? Um, so with that process, what do you think is your some of your biggest roadblocks of getting into it? Just the time to
Um,
sit down and like go
yeah,
through that.
just committing to the time on it. I tend to be a procrastinator with a lot of that kind of stuff. And so
Right
so
there with
just
you.
like committing to actually doing it. And then there's always just the fear of like, at this point, it's just me. So like once you start bringing in other people on it, yes, that's great for kind of nurturing more in the creative process, but it's also like opening up something that's been just for you to this point when it comes
Sure,
to like critiquing yourself and whatnot, and opening it up to other people kind of thing. There's an intimidation that comes with that as well.
I can completely understand that.
Just like making YouTube videos and
Eh,
stuff, like, you know, you film it, that's for you, you edit
mhm.
it, that's for you, then you upload it, now it's for everyone.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah,
that's the first thing I thought of too. Is
yeah.
just I get nervous just doing this. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes still
Yeah,
going and putting it out there. So I could see that it's probably even more so when you are putting that much more work into a
right. Yeah,
project.
it's one thing
And
when you spend a few hours on a YouTube video
yeah,
for months at a time of all the creative stuff that goes into making a movie or something.
yeah.
You come to appreciate it when people can make as good of a movie as the directors these days do.
Well, yeah, you maybe you have a more appreciation of a lot of the hard work that
Hmm.
goes into
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like it's been cool following along. If you watch Chris Stuckman, the
Yeah,
movie critic on
yeah,
YouTube, like following along with his process of making his first movie has been really cool. Just getting to see the behind the scenes on that.
yeah. Oh, that'd be a crazy feeling to
Yeah,
do that actually, and
yeah,
then
yeah. And he's been so transparent along the way too, which is cool. Just to see like how he's actually feeling and what he's thinking along the way, that kind of thing.
yeah. So okay, so watching him on YouTube, are you pretty active watching other people's content on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like. I think I don't remember if we talked about it backstage or since we went live, but I watch a lot of different channels, but I'm not always good about commenting and letting
Yeah,
people know I'm
yep,
there,
same,
kind of thing.
same. Yep.
So I always have a watch list of stuff that I'm going through, but I don't always make the time to go back and comment on it and give some kind of input, that kind of thing. But yeah, so but I think before I started my channel, I watched mostly just like some of the bigger movie review and collection channels, and then as I've started my own channel, I've gotten to meet other people and other collectors who, it's fun to have the community that we have of
Oh,
smaller
absolutely.
content creators, but just more genuine, relationships with each other as we're sharing about our, just love for movies and collecting and stuff.
No, absolutely. Um, yeah, no, and I can see too, like the bigger ones, it's always, I mean, that's usually what you'll come across first if you start
Hmm.
searching
Yeah,
to watch things. So,
right.
but then you kind of dig deeper and find,
Mhm.
some of the, like you said, smaller channels that
Yeah,
you
and you
can
actually feel
connect
like
up
you're a
with.
part of it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Um, so do you have any that like larger channels that you've are still watching that you started
I
that
still watch Chris Stuckman. I've
yeah.
watched most of his videos. um Outside of him, like I used to watch John Flickinger more, the Flick Pick. I don't know if you ever watched him.
I don't think I have.
He was on more like the Blu-ray collecting side of things. He doesn't do as much anymore. Mostly he streams now. He does
Mhm.
live streams, just Q&As kind of thing. And then um, what's his name? There's another guy, I forget his name now because I haven't watched him for a while. But I don't watch a ton of the bigger stuff anymore. I watch mostly a lot of the people in this community here.
Yeah. What do you find yourself gravitating towards more content wise on the videos? Like, do
I try to watch a lot of stuff that like might recommend something I haven't considered before, or
okay,
something
yeah,
that just might not be on my radar. So I like, everyone likes a good haul video to see what people are picking up, and then get some recommendations on maybe it's something you were aware of, or maybe it's something that's entirely new to you too. And I always love a good room tour.
oh yeah, I'm a sucker for them. We were
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about
considering doing a new one soon because my room physically hasn't changed much, but I've made small tweaks since I last did one. So I'm
yeah.
considering doing a new one soon, sometime this summer.
Oh, I'm a sucker for them. I'll watch those all the
Yeah,
time. We were talking
yeah.
about Tim earlier with his
Hmm.
his big collection. And I know I've seen you do a couple little updates or like projects. So like your shelves.
Yeah, like
Like,
putting other shelves and
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
And I think that's great too, because it's kind of fun for me to be like, oh, that's a cool idea. I might not have thought of that. And would that work in my setup, you know? And
Right.
it's kind of like talking about movies. You get new recommendations of things you haven't come across, but like, just like, wow, that's a way you could use that space. You know, you got
Right.
this open wall.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Because all the shelves I had here before, I think they went to like maybe something like here or something because they were all just on the floor.
yeah,
And now with this, I just added tons of verticality to it.
yep. And you got some of your collectibles on there too.
Yeah. And I can
And
fit other stuff on it and whatnot.
yeah. And it's kind of, I like too, when you're like throwing out those, and Tim did it with his recently as well, where you can kind of show a way to do it in a more budget friendly way too. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
these are put a little work into it and save a lot of money kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Like if I remember from when I did these last year, each of these shelves will hold like 150 movies or so. And I have like 8 of them. So I
yeah,
can hold like 1,500 movies on there. And I think I spent like $120 on material. And then it was maybe like 2 or 3 days of work.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's awesome when you can do that. And now
Yeah.
you can look at every time you see that, you're like, yep, I did that.
Yeah. 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 And I
Have some
don't
of that
usually
pride.
consider myself much of a handy person. So that makes me even more proud that I did it.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to look in some stuff like that, because I have some open wall space where I'm like, that'd be kind of,
Yeah.
and it looks good too. Like you
Yeah.
sitting there
Even
in
if you
front
don't
of
do it on
and-
this scale, just to throw some shelves up there for
Oh yeah,
collectibles or something like that.
yeah, yeah. I've seen some people do some smaller ones and maybe put like, oh, these are my top movies, or steel books that I really like, or
Yeah.
something to show off a little bit more.
Yeah.
They might have them like front facing out, but just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many different things you can do.
Yeah. I like a lot of the shelving Mel's done. She does
Oh yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of cool shelving too.
yeah, yep, absolutely. Yeah, I need to get more creative about some of the things I do, but yeah, you just chip
Yeah.
away.
Hey,
and
you
work at
started
it.
with a blank wall and now
I
you got all
did. I
kinds
don't
of
have a
stuff.
blank
So
wall.
yeah.
But I took the easy way out, and there was a good deal on this shelf, and I was like, I'll do that. And I needed some more space anyway, and
Yeah.
it's more than just my blank blue
Yeah.
wall now.
Yeah. Yep.
No, that's cool. I love seeing that. Like you said, the room tours. That's why I was just kind of curious, like what kind of videos really drew you out, like you were going out and watching. But I always love getting new recommendations,
Yeah.
especially when you get to know some of the people a little bit better, like seeing their recommendations, and then after you watch those, and if they're like,
Yeah.
you can be like, okay, yep, we kind of
Yeah.
have a similar interest there.
Yeah, and I really like a good film analysis breakdown video kind of thing. Like I try
Okay.
to experiment doing those once in a while on my channel.
Yeah.
Like I did one a few months ago for Dr. Sleep. I don't know if you
Oh.
checked that one out.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like broke it down and did kind of like a thematic analysis of it, and then tied it in with kind of my Christian faith as well, of
Yep.
what different themes I picked up on based on, the upbringing I've had and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause that's definitely one I think I got it on a pretty good sale too, but I have not watched it. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's probably one of my favorite horror movies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No, that's one I've heard a lot of good things about from people. And
Yeah.
there's so many that I get so many recommendations for certain movies, and I'm like, why haven't I watched that yet? You
Yeah,
know? But
yeah.
just don't get around to it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna run through here real quickly. But Fish came out here, so Fish saying hello, Corey and Austin. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for jumping out here, Fish. Larry was saying definitely enjoy watching my fellow community creators. I honestly watch that more than TV shows.
Yeah.
or things I'll like throw in. There's so many people I'm following now where
Mm-hmm.
you get certain days where people throw out a bunch of videos, and
Yeah.
that could take a little while to get through some of those. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Kevin was saying, I have a big haul video. I need to make 40 to 50. Wow. 40 to 50 tiles. Hopefully I will get some time to record tomorrow. I would say that's definitely a haul, man. 40 to 50 tiles. That's a, yeah, right here. That's what I'm thinking. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we've talked about, I've tried to cut down on my hauls and stuff lately. I shoot for like 5 to 6 titles a month and try to cap it around there now.
Yeah. Well, and then you think about how many you can actually watch during the month.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
is your unwatched pile getting bigger or
Right.
smaller?
Right. Yeah.
Through the month.
Yeah.
But Kevin was saying, yeah, I got a few of them on eBay for $3 a piece. Oh, cool. But definitely paid more for others. Yeah, that
Yeah,
happens for
yeah.
sure. Kevin was saying, I subbed to your channel just now, Austin. I guess I hadn't found your channel yet. So
Nice.
that's cool.
Appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
also love seeing this too. Like,
Yeah.
um, sometimes some of us, it's just hard to run into. There's so
Hmm.
many channels out there, just run into some of
Yeah.
the people out there.
Yeah.
But Kevin was just saying about, picking some stuff up on eBay, like a little bit less expensive.
Hmm.
I have found a lot of fun trying to track down. I don't mind used copies of movies,
Hmm. Yeah, me neither. No.
and I know you've had some videos where you've shown some of your pickups from traveled to some shops that maybe had more
Right.
than what you normally have around you. And
Hmm.
I was gonna just ask. Well, I mean, you obviously just came out there and said you don't mind used movies,
Hmm.
but kind of if you're purchasing, do you mix that in quite a bit? Just kind of see
Yeah,
where you can.
yeah, I tend to be pretty mixed on it. My favorite used movie, my favorite store to get movies at is a used movie store. There's a local shop in Dayton, Ohio that's like an hour and a half from me, and it's just I've shown it a couple times in different videos, just like wall to wall, like movies, music,
Yeah,
and collectibles in there, and it's one of my favorites. And they always have really good prices too. And then just last time I went there, I found out they sell on a website too. So I was like, great, I don't even have to go there anymore. I can just order your stuff online too. So
yeah,
yeah, so I never have a problem buying secondhand either, because especially with the Blu-rays, most of the time it's in pretty good shape anyways. There was a little more protection on the discs, that kind of thing anyways.
yeah.
And I'm
No,
not someone who like needs to have a slip cover. Like I appreciate it when there is a slip cover or something like that on that kind of thing, but I'm not expecting it every time I get a movie kind of thing.
I'm the same way. So I've always put it as if there's two of them sitting next to each other and they're the exact same price, one has the
Hmm.
slip cover, one doesn't. I'll grab the slip
Yeah,
cover.
I'm going for the slip cover. Yeah, but if it's
But if
not
it,
there and that's all there is, that's okay.
yeah, you still watch the
Hmm.
movie.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. That's what I have to remind myself sometimes. Is like I'm getting this for the movie, not
yep,
not just the way that it looks. Because most of the time I'm just gonna sit there and look at that spine. So
yep. Well, so okay, talking about that, like sitting there and looking at the spine, and sometimes they have some fun slip covers, and now with steel books. Do you? So I know you have a few steel books at least, but
hmm,
do you
yeah,
dive into the steel books too
I
much,
don't
or
too much. I used to be a little more into steelbooks. I probably have maybe 30 or 40 steelbooks in the collection in
okay?
total. So not a ton. I was into it for a little while a few years ago, and then I kind of stopped buying them as much just because they were more money, and I
Yeah,
was, trying to put money towards other things. And then but more recently over this year I've started getting into it a little bit more. There was sometimes it's just because it's either the same price as the Blu-ray if you're picking
right.
it up secondhand, or sometimes
Or
you
even if
might
it's
catch a good sale on it. It's a
mm,
decent price, that kind of thing. And then other times it's such a cool addition. You're like, I gotta have the steelbook
yeah.
for it. Like the new Fall Guy movie. Like I saw the steelbook, the Walmart exclusive for that, and I was like, that's a cool one. I gotta get that one.
I
So
don't know if I've seen that one yet. I'll have
it's
to
not
I'll
out
look at.
yet. I got it pre-ordered. It was supposed to come out this Tuesday, but I think it's getting bumped to the end of the month. So
I'll
I'm
have
not
to
sure.
look.
But yeah, but I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought the steelbook was really cool for it. So I got that one. And then there's a few others too. I got some for anime, and then there was the movie Fall. There's a really
Oh
cool
yes.
steelbook for that one.
Yep.
Um, and then there was since Walmart's been doing steel books, they got a lot of the Lionsgate ones that Best
Yes.
Buy used to have.
Right.
And Best Buy was another situation of I'd have to drive like an hour to get to a Best Buy. So
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was bummed that Best Buy stopped selling movies, but now that Walmart's picking up the slack, that's great for me because Walmart's 20 minutes as opposed to an hour. So
Yeah. Right.
so I got like the Dread 4K Steelbook
That's a
over
great
there
one.
and a couple other ones. So that's cool to be seeing more Steelbooks and stuff in there. So I think that's part of what's gotten me a little more back into it now as well.
Yeah. It's been kind of fun where I'll be out in a Walmart and I'll just swing by the little
Hmm.
steelbook section
You
and look
can't
at.
not.
Yeah. Right. I was like, just gonna go look,
Yeah.
but it's fun to see some of those older Best Buy exclusives that have been out of circulation for a
Right.
little while
Hmm.
to see it just
Yeah.
pop up. Like the other day, I
Yeah.
saw Dread again
Yeah.
out on the shelf, and
Hmm.
I I didn't get that on the first run, but Best Buy
Yeah.
did.
That's how it was for me. And I was like, if
Yeah,
they ever redo this, I got to get this one.
yeah. Well, and that's where I think they did a second run in Best Buy, and I did get it during that one.
Hmm.
But it's nice to have you get another chance to to get
Yeah.
some of those.
Yeah. If they ever run the La La Land one again, I got to get
Oh,
that one because I love anytime I see someone show off that set, I'm like, oh, why didn't I get that one?
so that was one I double dipped on.
Yeah.
And that was the same deal where I missed the first run of the Steelbook
Hmm.
and it was gone. And I was like, and then I think I ended up getting, gosh, I think I bought a used copy of it because I just wanted to
Hmm.
have it. I liked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But then it popped back up again for a short time at Best Buy, and so I
Hmm.
went ahead and bought it.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think I had the Blu-ray, and then I went ahead and bought that 4K Steelbook
Hmm.
when it popped out. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, so
enjoyed that.
I'm not always someone who's gonna lay like up Steelbook every time, but if it's a cool one and I really latch onto the artwork on it, or it's a cool edition, that kind of thing, I'll jump on it and grab it.
Yeah, but I
Like
will.
the case of the Boy and the Heron that's coming out that I was talking about.
Yeah,
This is one of the first Ghibli movies to come to 4K, and the 4K for it is like $32 on Amazon, and they have the 4K Steelbook for 34, and it's
yeah,
like for $2 more, I'll take the
yeah.
Steelbook.
Well, that's what you were saying. Like, if it's sometimes it's about the same price, but I'm the same
Hmm.
way. It's like if it's like less than $5 difference,
Yeah,
it's kind of hard not to
yeah, hmm,
not to just go for it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
um, I was going to say, oh, we got Jeff in here. This I was saying earlier. John Doe Juggalo saying, "Good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Oh, no worries, man. I appreciate you jumping in." Oh, Jane Doe was saying we're originally from Dayton. Love secondhand
Yeah,
shops.
it's Huber Music and Video is the name of the store there. They're awesome.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, and they have the website too. Like I said, that you can get stuff on. Any of the videos where I've talked about them, I usually put their website link in there.
I'll have to go. Yeah, I'll have to go check that out. I love secondhand shops because there's so many
Hmm.
times you can find some just great
Oh yeah,
deals.
you never know where you're going to find that one. Especially has a good bit of foreign stuff in there that I've found as well. A lot of
Yeah,
Japanese stuff and Korean stuff I've gotten there.
that's the thing. The shops that are right around me that have used movies, you can find some good um, your main studio
Hmm.
releases,
Yep.
which I still enjoy, like we were talking
Hmm.
about earlier, but nothing too out of the ordinary, like you said with
Yeah.
the foreign
Yeah.
releases. But
Yeah, like Huber Music and Video, they have a wall that's got like a plastic casing on it and it's locked up of
oh
all
yeah,
like boutique label stuff.
okay,
It's probably about the size of my collection and it's all just like floor to ceiling boutique stuff of like Kino Lorber, Criterion, Shout Factory, all that kind of stuff. So that's
oh
pretty
that's
cool to
awesome.
look at because it's just a whole shelf wall of just boutique
Oh,
stuff. Yeah.
earlier this year when I got to meet up with a few other people met through YouTube and everything, we got
Hmm.
to actually go to the physical location for Orbit DVD in
Hmm.
Asheville, North Carolina,
Yeah.
and I know you can set like you said, I can go online and buy anything that they have online, but
Right.
it was
It's different when you see it.
yeah when you're right in person, and they
Yeah.
had the glass case with like the
Hmm.
really nice stuff
Makes
in
it
there
feel real
too.
pristine. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
and you sit there and just kind of drool over it for a little bit, but and then it just threw me off with I just never had stores around me that would have they had this whole wall of just these crazy box sets,
Hmm.
and um, I couldn't go too crazy, buying things, but I still loved looking at them and like something
Yeah.
you could just pick up and check it out,
Hmm.
right
Just
there
at
in your
least to see
hand.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to do that.
Yeah. Even if it's one you see and you don't buy it, but maybe that's what it's on Netflix. I'll stream it and give it a chance or something like
Yeah,
that.
and maybe you'll go back and
Yeah.
get that box set. But saying hi to Steve here, jumping in, saying greetings, gentlemen and flick friends. How we doing, Steve? Um, let's see here. People saying hi to Steve. Kevin was saying I haven't been to Best Buy since January, so they must be missing my money. Yeah,
I haven't either. But
I
that's
pop
also because it's just not convenient.
right. Yeah, you were saying it was a bit of a drive for you,
Hmm.
so um, it was kind of. Oh, Jane was saying my brother lives in Huber.
Nice.
Um, I did pop into my local one of the Best Buys because somebody was saying like, oh, they still had a couple at their local one. They still had a couple little standees of
Hmm.
movies, and I was like, I'll just go in and look. Nothing,
Yeah.
which didn't surprise me, but because
Right.
they had been thinning it out pretty good. But I was like, I'll
Hmm.
just go see if there's
Yeah. See
anything
what's
in there.
left.
Yep. Um, yeah, that's where I'd get in trouble. Jeff was saying, Orbit is technically his local shop. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I know. Because I said when we were going through that, I was like, oh, I'd love to have this like really close to me. But I'm
Hmm.
like, no, probably not.
Yeah, let's just
Because
stick with the online store.
probably get myself in trouble
Yeah.
buying too much. Fish was saying, I love my used shops. They had a 4th of July weekend sale and I grabbed some goodies today.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one, my brother used to live up in Lima, Ohio, northwestern area there, and there was a local shop there that's kind of like, it's a franchise, but it's like a Midwestern kind of franchise. I forget the name of it now. Like Mega Replay is what it was.
Oh, yeah, I've
And
heard of them. Yeah.
yeah, and they would always do like holiday sales. So there
Yeah.
was like one time that it lined up that they were doing a holiday sale, and I happened to be visiting him that weekend, and it was like buy one get one free on Blu-rays, and I was
Oh,
like, oh,
nice.
this is dangerous. So it
Yeah.
was funny. We went in, got, well, I think we each got like 5 or 6, and then 5 or 6 more for free, and then we went back again the next day because they were still having the sale.
Yeah, it's hard not to,
Yeah, because we were
go
like,
back
when are we
to
going to
that.
do this again? It's just a great chance to, build up that catalog of stuff you're behind on and whatnot, of,
Oh, yeah.
childhood movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I've done that before too. Yeah, it's like on that trip we were at, there was a couple used places that they just had so much more coming, so much of a collection, more to pick from. That's what I would say
Yeah,
than I have any around me. Like
yeah,
I'll go into some of them and they're usually like used video game stores around
hmm
me that have
yeah.
them, which is fine, but they'll just have a couple rows.
Right,
I
of
mean,
some section kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
And we were going into some used places that it was crazy how
there's
many were
aisles
there.
of it
Yeah,
probably.
there
Yeah,
were, and we went back a couple times just
hmm
because you missed stuff. But then
right.
they had enough of a turnover where they'd have a new
It was actually
section.
new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, in mine I could probably go. I only need to go back probably most every other month because it
hmm
just doesn't turn over
Yeah.
very
hmm
quickly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. And I follow the Huber video store on Facebook, and every week they post all their new stuff that's coming in, and they're always getting like at least 100 new titles every week.
so that must be the one you've. And I'm sorry if you probably already said this, but like it's popped up in your videos a couple times
Oh yeah,
before,
yeah.
hasn't it?
I
Yeah,
try to go there at least once or twice a year.
yeah,
It's not a super far drive, but an hour and a half is still a
yeah,
decent drive. So, and we don't really do anything else out there, so that's like what we do when I go out there, kind of
yeah,
thing. So I'll go out there and spend like half a day in their store and pick up some stuff.
yeah. Well, I've done something like that before too, where we have a city that's probably about that same distance for me too, that has some more things, and I'm have something coming up here soon where I'm going to do the same thing. But it's kind of nice where go do a little shopping and maybe you pick out
Hmm.
a, a, a food place you don't have around home and grab some
Yeah,
lunch and then
yeah,
call it a day and
yeah.
get to do some of those things. But uh, Kevin was saying, yeah, oh, he was talking about his big haul, the 50 titles.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then he was saying some of those are TV shows. So I know you've dropped a few times in your videos where there's a few series that you've been
Yeah, I've been
collecting
trying to build
some.
up the TV show collection a little more over the past year or so.
Yeah. And I know like one I've heard you bring up a couple times was oh gosh, and I apologize. I'm gonna Spy Family X.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah, Spy Family. Yeah,
or Spy Family?
yeah, that's an anime series. Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't gotten into that one yet, but I knew
Hmm.
you brought that
That's a
up a
good
few
like
times.
kind of introductory anime, I feel like, to get into with.
Okay, that's what I was just gonna go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
gonna.
it's on. I think they have it on Hulu. Maybe I watch it on Crunchyroll. I got a friend who has Crunchyroll, which is like the best place to watch anime in the U.S. So that's
Yeah,
where I watch it.
I've heard of it, but I've never had that. But I'll have to check
Hmm.
my Hulu out to see if
Yeah, I
it's
feel
on
like it's
there.
on Hulu. I don't remember.
That's the
Hulu
thing.
does a pretty decent job of anime stuff.
Okay, cool. I'll have
Hmm.
to look at that.
Yeah.
So, are a lot of the series that you're picking up anime, or are you kind of all over?
Recently,
Or
yes. Yeah, I've been trying to, because I've been getting into anime more over the past few years. That's been a lot of what I've been adding to the collection. I've actually, over behind the recliner, I got a whole shelf that I moved all my anime off my regular shelf and now have a shelf just for my anime
dedicated?
movies and my series. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So it started with Dragon Ball when I got into Dragon Ball a year or two ago, and then since then it's just escalated into more and more. It started with Dragon Ball and some Ghibli stuff, and now it's even more stuff. So
So, would you count Last Airbender into
I
that, or
personally wrap it in with anime because
okay?
it's definitely it's done with that intention of kind of
Mhm.
like in that style. So I personally consider Avatar: Last Airbender an anime. Some people wouldn't, but
Okay. I
I
was just
do.
curious because that was one my son got really into, and I that was
Hmm.
one thing that I remember watching with him when he was
Yeah,
younger.
yeah, yeah. I mean, technically, it's not because it's not a Japanese animation studio, but
It's
for
kind of in the
sake of
spirit
yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
it's in the spirit of. So yeah.
Yep. No, for sure. Okay,
Hmm.
that was one I enjoyed, but I also remember taking him when he was excited that the movie came out,
Oh
the live
yeah, the
action,
first live action attempt.
and he was disappointed
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that one. But
yeah,
did you feel the same way?
yeah.
Did you?
He's not alone in that
Okay.
opinion.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
common theme, but I just didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. I
You know.
think the new series was a lot better. It was decent. I liked it. Not, I think the animated series is still the best, but
Yeah. No, I that was one I've been kind of watching just to try to find used somewhere or a really good sale. Like I wouldn't
hmm
mind. I would like to have it, but I don't know if it would be something I would jump into right away and like watch all the way through. So
yeah,
like
yeah. You
if I
can
kind of
usually find it for a pretty decent price most of the time too. I feel like it's not too uncommon for me to see the show on Blu-ray for like $20 somewhere.
oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's 3 seasons, so 3 seasons for $20 is a good price. So
Yeah. No, I'll have to look for that. Yeah, if I
hmm
don't feel like I'm gonna really dig into it soon, I
hmm
try to really watch for a sale, like a really
right.
good sale or a
hmm
used good
Yeah.
used price
Yep.
somewhere. But um but so mostly anime. Are there any shows series outside of anime that you've
Yeah,
gotten
I've been
into?
slowly collecting the Yellowstone stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because that's on like Paramount Plus, and we don't
Yeah.
have that. We just free trial it whenever
Yeah.
like a new
Yep.
season comes out. Because
Yep.
you got plenty of email addresses to free trial with.
Yep.
So I did that. We do that kind of when it comes out, and then I'll grab the Blu-ray for it when that comes out as well. So yeah, so I did Yellowstone. Um, that's been the main one recently, like Yellowstone and Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, I remember you pulling out
Yeah, and then now
those.
that Disney's been coming out with their shows on Disney Plus Blu-rays, I've been getting some of those too. So I got the Mandalorian and Andor so
Oh
far
yeah.
of that stuff.
They had some nice steel books
Oh
on
yeah,
those,
they're
didn't they?
really nice, and
Yeah.
thankfully they're not. They're a little pricey, but not ridiculously
But for a
priced.
full season,
Yeah.
you felt good about
hmm
it.
Yeah.
And they at least did something with the steelbook. Like sometimes they're pretty
Right. Yeah.
lazy about,
Yeah.
or not them in
Yeah.
particular, but just
Yeah. They don't put
people
much
in
into it,
general.
kind of thing,
Right.
and they even put like some bonus features and exclusive behind the scenes on it and stuff, which is cool. So.
Yeah. So it makes the price tag feel a little better when
Yeah.
you get a little extra out of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I
I think
think.
all
But
of them so far have had some kind of like half an hour exclusive behind the scenes featurette, which is cool.
yeah. I always love digging into those. I find it
hmm
very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I can't justify the Marvel shows yet because I've been mostly lukewarm on the shows, but the Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Andor ones, I definitely grabbed.
Yeah. Well, anymore, there's quite a few. So, I mean, it would get expensive to pick
I
up
know that's the thing.
all.
Yeah, when you do them all, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I've been back and forth on like, do I just get the ones I like? But it's like, but then if you get the ones you like, it's like
Yeah.
you kind of want them all because I got all the movies so far. It's like,
Yeah.
but if I do it, I'd kind of want to have all the shows, but it's just so much and so expensive. And
Mm.
for the movies, I love most of the movies, so I can definitely see myself revisiting those. But for most of the shows that I've been mixed on, like I don't really see myself revisiting them very much.
No. Yeah.
So
It makes it hard to.
it's one
Uh,
thing to pay for Disney Plus and have them on there and watch, but it's another thing to spend money on the Blu-rays and not really watch them. So
no, I agree completely.
mhm.
Kevin was saying, well, it's time to go to bed, lay down. I have to get up early in the morning. Well, thanks for joining us for a while there,
Yeah,
Kevin. I appreciate it a lot. Have a great rest of the night, Corey Austin in chat. So, no, I appreciate it. Have Collector Movie Man coming in saying hi. Thanks for jumping in. Holland was saying, I know King of the Hill had many seasons dubbed in Japanese. I think there's 1 or 2 episodes on YouTube, and it's great. That might be interesting
yeah.
to check out, but I have not seen that. But so with you're starting to collect Yellowstone.
hmm
Have you had any desire to go see the new Horizon American Saga, the new Kevin
Um,
Costner movie that's
Not in
out?
theaters, but I'm
Yeah.
interested enough to see them. I definitely want to check them out. I mean, Kevin Costner seems pretty passionate about him, so it'd
Yeah.
be cool to check him out some more. And I think it's cool that they did like a part one, part two, and they're both
Yeah.
coming out like a couple months apart. Like you don't see that very much in the
Yeah.
US.
Not
Like
like
it's
years
more
apart.
common. Yeah, it's more common outside of the United States to see like a part one, part two release within the same year kind of thing, but you don't really see it too much in the US. So that's pretty cool. And I think they're doing like a part 3 and 4 too at some point.
I thought there was the talks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1 and 2 for sure were done and set to go. But
Yeah.
I thought I heard 3 and 4 were
Yeah.
talked about at least. I don't
Yeah.
know much more of that, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's like a different way to do a mini series, really. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, just like a long form miniseries kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, to have like 6 total hours, and you or
Mhm.
I thought that's what was around. It was
Something
about
like that.
3 hours,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no, it's interesting to check those out. No,
Yeah.
did you get into westerns too much before seeing Yellowstone, or is that kind of a
No, not
newer?
really. That was kind of the main Western. Like, there's a few one-off Westerns that I've gotten into. It's never really been my thing too much. Like, besides that, the only ones that really come to mind is like the newer True Grit movie from,
Yeah,
10 years ago. And then
yeah,
um Django Unchained, the Tarantino one. That's one of my
yeah,
favorites. I love that movie.
yeah.
So I'm
No,
not
they're
I'm
good.
not like a huge Western guy. Cowboys versus Aliens, that was a fun one.
Yeah, man, I haven't seen that in a
Yeah.
a long
I never
time.
watched it when it came out because I thought it was a stupid idea. But then one day I like saw it on Netflix and was like, let's give it a shot. And I was like, that was pretty fun.
I think that must have been at the time. It must have been one of my Netflix rental when we were talking about the
Yeah.
DVDs getting sent to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I think that might have been one of them one time
Yeah.
because I know I didn't see it in the theater,
hmm
um, but yeah, no, it's yeah, that's Harrison Ford and
Daniel Craig.
Craig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, yeah.
And
No,
directed by Dave Filoni too.
oh yeah.
hmm
I guess I forgot about that completely.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah, you're
forget
way
if
back.
he did that before or after Iron Man. I forget. I feel like it would have been after Iron Man, maybe. I don't know. But I guess he did Iron Man and Iron Man 2 pretty close together. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to, I know, kind of switching gears a little bit, but like going back to Iron Man,
hmm
watching that, I remember seeing it in the theater when it
yeah.
originally
Yep.
came
Me
out.
too.
And now looking back at everything that's been Marvel,
hmm
since that
Since,
point,
yeah.
it's crazy how much that took off. And I just remember a time there was not much for comic book characters to be
Right.
on big
hmm
screen,
Yeah.
or TV shows even for that
Yeah.
matter,
hmm
So
Yeah.
that was pretty crazy. So do you said you had all the movies at this point, the Marvel?
Yeah. I have all the movies except for the new Marvels movie. That's the
Okay.
only one I still got to get. And I still haven't seen that one yet. So I
I
need to
haven't
watch
seen that
that
either.
one and get it at some point.
So that's quite a few movies. That's crazy. They've had
Yeah.
quite a
Yeah. It's
run
like
of them.
20 something movies. Actually, it might be 30 now, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was like 20 something when Infinity War came out. So,
Yeah, there's still things I have up through Endgame.
hmm
I've seen everything.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
then after that, I have a lot of holes there that I
hmm
need
Yeah.
to I'll watch sometime. I don't have
Yeah.
anything against it. I think it's just I don't know if it was a
It's
big
not as urgent these days to keep
right,
up on Marvel as it
exactly.
used to be.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Because I remember when Infinity War and Endgame came out, that
hmm
was a big deal when that was
Yeah.
coming out to be
Yeah.
like,
Those
what's
were like massive
happening?
events. Yeah. And
Yeah,
you had to know.
yeah, I remember that. And my son was younger, so up through Endgame, that he probably was into high school at that point, and but not able to drive yet. So it was one of those like, oh yeah, I'll drive you and your friends, because then I would
hmm
go. I'll leave you
Yeah.
alone, but I'd go to the theater
Yeah. I'll
too
go
to
sit by
watch it.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like I'll grab my popcorn, and
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it just as much. So it
Oh,
was kind of
yeah.
it
Yeah.
was fun to have that run,
Yeah.
to get to see that with them.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say hi to Smirk, who's coming in here saying what's up, Wilkie and movie people. Thanks for jumping in. Collection Movie Man was saying, did you hear that Kevin Costner might lose his home because the movie flopped so bad in the box office?
I know he put up some of his own money to fund it.
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
It might not, yeah, I think he'll be okay. But yeah, I think he is heavily invested
Yes.
in
hmm
this
Yeah.
movie. But he's done it a little bit before. This is probably like by far the most, but I know like so like talking about other Western movies, I enjoy, some people think it's a little slow in parts, but Open Range
Oh, is
is
that the Prime one? The
no, it's an
series?
older one that
Oh, is it?
nope,
Okay.
it's a movie.
Oh, I'm thinking of Outer Range
Oh
is an
yeah, yep,
Amazon series.
yep.
Yeah.
Nope, there's a Western. It's Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall and
Okay. Yep.
I'm blanking on the lady's name. Either way, and I think that was one he kind of produced and fronted. And I knew he had made comments too. He knew this wasn't going to be like a um,
Big box
billion
office
dollar
win kind of
movie
thing.
in the
Yeah.
theater, but maybe he'll have some great rights to streaming after this too, where it will come
Yeah.
out and be a draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Yellowstone's been a huge draw for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like that's becoming a little more common as someone who's really passionate about a project, like going in on it with their own, their own money and stuff like that. Like Francis Ford Coppola, his new movie that's coming out later this year, Megalopolis, I heard he sold off a large amount of his wine collection to make this movie just because he's so passionate about getting it done, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, he definitely was. Yeah, it was his project.
Yeah, it looks cool. I've seen a couple of trailers so far. It looks interesting.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely. I want to check it out for sure, but I just don't know the 3 hour movie time.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a home watch for me.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or otherwise. I know it probably supports the movies better if you go out to the theater, but I don't get to the theater a ton. It's not super far, but it's a little bit of a drive, and it gets a little pricey, sometimes.
I mostly really just go in the summer because that's when my wife is off, so we have more free time to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I can see that. That's where I'm trying to find some now with my wife that she'll enjoy too, and go out to some movies. So
we saw the new Quiet Place movie the other day. The two of us went out. It was pretty good. We liked it. Yeah, I still think the first one's my favorite, and she said she needs to rewatch the other ones to decide kind of where she falls on which one she likes the most. She's not really a scary movie person. She doesn't do anything with like horror. Like this is the closest she'll probably get to a horror movie because they're a little bit more like sci-fi thrillers kind of thing. So she enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's not my wife's thing. She's not for that. So I don't see taking her to that one, but I want to see that one pretty. But we were just throwing out. So just looking at some movies that are coming out here pretty soon. I threw out. We saw a trailer for Twisters.
Yeah, Twisters looks fun.
So I think that'd be a fun one to.
Yeah.
That she would enjoy too, because she likes the first one, and we had fun with that.
Yeah.
One I wanted to get her to go out to see, we just never got to the theater. You brought it up already. What was Fall Guy?
Yeah, Fall Guy was fun. We did see that one together as kind of a date movie.
Yeah.
She didn't like it as much as I did, but she still did have a fun time with it overall.
Okay.
She fell in the I liked it category, and I fell in the I really liked it category. Really liked it. Yeah. But I also loved the whole kind of meta nature of it with stunts and action and all that kind of thing too. So there's that kind of angle with it where I had more appreciation for it because it kind of pulled back the curtain on filmmaking and stuff a little bit too.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I know what it's based around, but I didn't realize it was such a. Some people said it was like kind of a love letter to the stunt people
community,
and how little
yeah
recognition they get for a lot of the danger and stuff they do to make a great movie for you to watch.
Yeah, there's a joke in the movie about like someone says something about it and like stunts, they got an Oscar for that, don't they? And they say nope, they do not. So they're kind of making a little jab at the Oscars there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and that's what I know, they had a couple. I didn't see that one, but yeah, that's funny to have that little jab. But then there was like the one scene where he's getting talked into like doing this, hunting down the star that's missing, and it's like he's kind of like, why me? And it's like, well, you're a stunt guy that like no one will notice if you're missing or gone or whatever. She's like, no offense, and he's like, well, some taken. Just like nobody will notice if you're around or not.
Yeah, you're just the stunt guy.
Right. So I know they had a couple little little jabs in there a little bit, but we don't need to do any spoilers, but Mindy needs to know from you. If the cat dies, she needs to know whether she's going to watch the movie or not. So you don't have to give a spoiler out on this, but you might have to let Mindy know if the cat makes it or not. But it's tough when you love the pets and you got some of those movies that have some things in it. But
I didn't watch the first John Wick for the longest time because I didn't want to see a dog die.
Oh, I know. That's kind of a tough one. It's a little puppy.
Yeah.
And in the circumstances of why he has the puppy and everything.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what I'd never gone out to it, but somebody was telling me it's been quite a while ago, so I don't even know if the site still exists or not. But so just for that fact, like some people's like, I can't watch it if, so anyway, there's a website, or at least it used to be around. It could be gone now, but it was like, does the dog die or something like that, or
like dogsthedogdie.com or something.
yeah. And so it's like a database. You can just like put in a movie and it will say like,
and it'll tell you if the
yep
animal
or
dies.
nope. And then you'd be like, okay, I can watch the movie
no
right now.
spoilers, but does the animal die?
Yes, does the dog die?
Yeah.
So so Mindy, you're not alone with not wanting to watch movies like that, because apparently there's enough people if they're making a website for it to do that. Larry was saying, he was like, Fall Guy was great. Yep. I still want to watch it. That's where I thought that sounded like a great date night movie, or at least for my wife.
That's kind of how I felt. I mean, like I said, my wife didn't enjoy it quite as much as I did, but she still had a fun time with it. For me, it was kind of like the perfect date night movie because it has the action that most guys tend to like and appreciate, but it also had a pretty good kind of romantic side to the story as well. It wasn't just kind of tacked on there.
Yeah, and it felt like, or at least from the trailers, like some comedy mixed in there too.
Yeah, so it was a good balance of action, comedy, romance. It just kind of had the best of everything.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, oh, that kind of would hit enough to, I think, keep us all entertained. So now that will probably be a streaming one. We'll just do some night here, but one that's a little more serious that when we were talking about earlier that my wife threw out that she wanted to watch, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch that too. But I know the ending of it for real life, but Iron Claw, and we were talking about earlier, you know, like you're like, great movie, but might not be rushing back to watch it.
Yeah.
So a little bit on the different side of the spectrum, where serious and somber kind of a thing. But yeah, I'll have to get around to that. Larry was saying, man, Corey, you probably wouldn't want to see Audition if that's the case. Yeah, I've heard that's a rough.
I haven't seen that one.
I heard it's a rough one. Yeah, I've heard of multiple people that like. Let's just say they're more adventurous in their viewing than I am sometimes, and they even were like, and they'll recommend stuff to me like to break me out of the box. But that one was even one that a couple of them were like, you might want to hold off on. You might want to hold off on that one.
Yeah.
So I took their word for it.
Yep.
Larry was saying, the wife and I enjoyed Fall Guy.
Good.
I could see renting or streaming that one here soon. Austin, do you like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragons?
I haven't seen either. Both are right up my alley as far as stuff that I normally enjoy, but because of kind of the reputation that comes with Game of Thrones and the inappropriate stuff they like to show, I've shied away from it.
We don't get in a lot of detail. I had a close run-in with that series when it was new. So the second season was getting ready to come out for Game of Thrones. I'd never watched any of it before. Yeah. And they were doing apparently a marathon of the first season leading up to the second season. And it was one of those deals. At the time, I think we had Dish. And they had a free weekend of HBO. And so I was DVRing a bunch of kids movies for the kids to watch. Anyway, apparently the taping of it started far enough in advance of this kid movie that it caught the tail end of the first episode of Game of Thrones. Yeah. And I'll just say the first thing that came up on the TV, I was like, what the heck did I just record? And I was like fumbling for the remote and like to shut the TV off. I never had such a panic attack in my life because the kids were pretty young. Didn't see anything, but I was like, man, that's a weird combination to like Game of Thrones and then go into like Cars 2 or I can't remember what it was, but it was like literally that type of swing. So I have not watched either of them. I know they're very popular.
Most people are surprised because I'm like a big fantasy guy, but it's like the amount of mature content I've heard come from that show, like it's enough that it has a reputation, so it's like I'll stay away from it for now.
and that's where, like you said, you like the fantasy things, but like or at least what I've seen so far in the first Lord of the Rings, they don't even remotely go that direction with things. So, but Jeff was saying, just sub to Austin. Corey out here making connections. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
you like his stuff. Check his videos out for sure.
Yeah, I just did my Frankenstein collections the other day. That was a fun one.
I have not watched that one. Oh no,
Yeah.
no, I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
because you
not
you were, I remember.
Frankenstein, but
Right.
you
Not Frankenstein,
Frankenstein
but
the
Frankenstein
collection.
collections. Yeah.
Sorry, that's where I went for. Yes,
Yeah.
I did because I was agreeing with. That was a great idea for a video too. I
Yeah.
thought.
Like I said, I've literally had that idea for months. I just wanted to finish owning the ones that I wanted to talk about. So I just, it takes the time to build up the collection for the ones you want kind of thing. And
Yeah,
I got it. So I was like, all right, I can finally do this video I've been sitting on.
yeah, no, great idea. So everybody that's watching right now, like, go check that one out. It's a great. So Austin's saying like he Frankensteined collections together. So it's a movie franchise
Where you
that
pick and choose the ones you like and you don't buy
yes,
them all. Yeah.
you don't necessarily love the entire franchise,
Hmm.
but you're like, okay, out of that 5, these are the 3 that I love and I'm going to have in
Yeah.
my collection. And that's my little
Yeah. Like
trilogy
this
I
is
made out
my
of it.
Jurassic Park trilogy or
Yeah,
something
right.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. And no, it was a lot of good take and a lot of great franchises too that
Hmm.
you were
Yeah.
hitting on.
Yeah.
So yeah, in one of those, not to like spoil anything, and don't have to even say what the title is, but another one that was a streaming service movie that came out that was a nice surprise hit, and it got a physical release, and it's like one of those that's like you feel obligated to buy it because if you
Hmm.
don't, not every streaming movie or direct to stream
Right.
movie gets a physical release,
Hmm.
and if you're not buying them and they're not selling them, it's
Right. Then they're not going to release more of them.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So where I try to support those where I can.
yeah, no, absolutely.
And in some
Um,
cases, I've even resorted to bootlegs recently, just because it's like, if this ever gets pulled, I don't want to not be able to watch it. So I'm just
yeah.
gonna go ahead and grab this bootleg for now.
Oh yeah. Well, I know a lot of people that did that, but then I also know a lot of people that did that and they followed through with what they said. It's like if they
Yeah, and
put
that's what
a
I've said too. Is if they ever
yeah,
do an official release, I
I'm
will
buying
buy it
it.
day one. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know quite a few people that said that and they did because they showed
Hmm.
I've seen them on videos
Yep.
like I
Yeah.
got
Or
the
they'll throw
physical
away
now.
the bootleg or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep. Or I went and bought it. I said I was going to
Hmm.
and I
Yep.
did. And
Yeah.
I want to support that because I want them to continue to do that.
Hmm.
Gizmo was saying, no, just take Gizmo with a grain of salt. Anything kind of newer, he's pretty hard on movies. He
Okay.
loves movies, but he said Fall Guy was 5 out of 10 for me. Terrible, bad CGI, and the humor was not funny. But I did love the film. I did
The
love the
film
film
in the
in the
film.
film.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now that's a movie I want to see. It looks
Yeah,
better
I would.
than
I would want to watch Metal Storm too. It looked like a kind of like over the top Mad Max type movie,
I've seen like just the
but like
clips, so I know what you're
cheesy.
talking-
Like Mad
Yeah,
Max isn't, Fury Road isn't cheesy, but like kind of cheesy.
yeah, but fun.
Yeah.
Holland was saying Corey ripped the bandage off, go put audition and then Insight. No, I've heard both of those. I've been warned about both of those movies. Like, yeah, there's so many other movies I know for sure I'm going to enjoy that I haven't watched yet that I'm probably going to go with those first. But
Hmm.
let's see here. At least Audition is on Tubi. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's there.
I've used Tubi a bit more recently for Tubi and Freeform. They have a lot of good stuff that you wouldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah, no, that's I've actually been pleasantly surprised about how deep their catalog is.
Hmm.
But you have to dig for some of it. It feels
Yeah,
like
you do. Yeah, it's not always the easiest to find.
right.
Freeform or what Freevee is a little easier because it's like tied in with Amazon Prime. So if you
Hmm.
got Prime, they're going to suggest stuff that's on there.
Right.
But like you said, like Tubi, you got to dig a little bit.
You got to dig, but they have a ton of great movies
Hmm.
and foreign releases too. Like we were talking about things
Yeah,
you don't. It's not just the big blockbuster or
yeah,
tentpole movies.
yeah.
And I think they're pretty. They're like one of the better ones for me anyway, commercial wise. Like
Hmm.
how
Yeah, they're
many
not. They
and
don't throw it in
when
your face
and
as much in the middle of a conversation or something
yes.
like that.
Yeah, because there's even been sometimes I've been watching a movie and I'm like, wow, it's been quite a long time. Or sometimes it almost feels like they just throw a bunch at the beginning and then
Hmm.
you're
Yeah,
good
there you
for
go. They'll
quite a
front load
while.
it. Like
Yeah.
like Max does that. If you have the
Yeah.
ad, we use the ad membership for it
Yeah.
just because it's a little cheaper. And if
Yeah.
it's like a newer movie, they'll like throw a couple minutes of ads up first, and then you're good for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't mind that, but I can't remember which one it was, but I tried to watch. There was a different streaming service that's a free one like that, ad supported,
Hmm.
and it was bad. Like it
Yeah.
just kept on. And I
Just
was like,
constant.
I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It was just like bad choices of the breaks, and there was a lot more of
Yeah.
them.
Like, it'll be like in the middle of a conversation
Mm-hmm.
sometimes or something.
Mm-hmm. But no, Tubi, I think they do a really good job with that.
Mm-hmm.
Collector Movie Man saying, "LOL, Corey. I know exactly what you're talking about. I think he's talking about my
Your Game
my
of Thrones close
recording.
call.
Yes, the close call, the jump in front of the TV and grab the remote as fast as possible. I've never freaked because my kids were pretty young.
Yeah.
The end of that first episode, yeah, yeah, that was what I got. And then I was like, "What the heck is this? What did I?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What in the world was playing before?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Game of Thrones." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I've never seen it. No worries, Austin. I've seen 1.5 episodes of Games of Thrones and was not a fan.
Not everything's for everyone.
No, it's not. Glad I found the other 2 people who haven't seen Game of Thrones.
We should form a club.
Yep. the 4 of us, like Larry was there too. So, oh, Holland's right there too. Haven't seen
I got
Games of
5
Thrones either. There we go. Wow, the club's growing. Definitely Austin, subscribe, follow him on Instagram. Yep, absolutely. That's what I should have everything in the description. So definitely please check out Austin's stuff if you haven't already. You will not be sorry. I've had fun following you. I mean, I'm not just saying that. And you just seem like that's where I love when you're running across people like you that just are genuinely nice people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't always run into that.
Right.
But it's fun, and you're just here to hang out and talk and not like judge of what you have seen or haven't seen or what your opinion is.
Yeah, there's plenty of classics I haven't seen. There's probably plenty of stuff you haven't seen.
Plenty.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. You haven't seen Two Towers.
I know.
Return of the King yet, and we're still friends.
Yeah, right. You're like, I'm this close. I finally watched the first one, so you're like, okay, you can still follow
hold you
me
over for a little bit.
But no, I'll say this though. After watching the first one, I have no doubt that I want to
You'll
watch
enjoy
the
it.
next.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed the first one. We'll just say that. And I've heard many people, including you, where they're like, "Oh, if you like the first one, you'll be good for the second too." But okay, I just completely.
You were on the Knives Out 2 4K.
Oh yeah. Collector Movie Man was just saying,
which I'm bummed about that too.
Yeah,
I hope one day we can get it.
Yeah.
There's a couple people I've seen online that have a bootleg for it. I'm considering just so I can do Knives Out and Knives Out 2 on the shelf together.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
really would have thought Netflix would have done it. Of all the things they do physically, you'd think they'd do Knives Out because it's a pretty popular series.
Well, I thought it did.
I feel like I still prefer the first Knives Out, but they're like neck and neck for me as far as the quality goes. They're both great.
Yeah, and I had fun with both of them, and I could see, but I could agree. I would lean towards the first one out of the 2. But yeah, hopefully they'll do that because I'm sure there'll be people going to buy it. But, let's see here. Still hoping for a re-release of The Void. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look and see what that one is all about. Larry was saying, I will say that when Tubi's commercials hit, they're louder than the film.
I remember those days of TV too, when commercials would come on, and
it is jarring.
Yeah,
when maybe you have the movie kind of loud anyway, but then the commercial comes
on, wakes the whole house up.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, whoa. Oh, Jeff isn't a fan of the Max ad supported. Well, that's where you
pick and choose the ones you're going to pay for that way.
To budget and
like we bundle Disney and Hulu for the ad free because Hulu does a lot of ads. They're not horribly placed or anything, but they do have a lot of ads. So we felt that was worth it for us for what we usually watch of Disney and Hulu. So we bundled those ad free.
Well, yeah, and you just got to pick and choose. Everything's more expensive and everything's still rising. I was just talking about how not too long ago Netflix raised prices, but then
again,
and then we just got one. We stream, so we listen to the family. We listen to a lot of music and other things. So we actually do Spotify.
Yeah,
I just got a email recently that the family plan was being raised. Like $3 a month or something. And it's one of those that, okay, if you look at that one single thing, it's like, okay, $3 a month isn't gonna break me, but at the same
Right.
time, it's like, okay, if
If
all of
all of
them
them
are
do it, yeah,
doing
that's
it,
$20 more a month or
yep,
whatever.
and then
Yeah.
it's happened maybe a couple times.
Yeah.
You just got to draw the line at a certain
Yeah.
point,
Yeah. Like we used
and
to have Apple TV Plus when it was like $5 a month. And then once the prices
oh,
started going up more, we had watched what we wanted to see on it. So we canceled our subscription for it. And then we got all excited because I got a new phone at work and it came with a 3-month Apple subscription. So
yep.
we signed up for that and we're catching up on all the stuff we didn't watch for a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did a run. Actually, that's how I saw the first season of Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
We upgraded our phones, and anyway, it was in between the first and the second season, and so that whatever time period we got for free, after getting the phone, we ran through that. But yeah, man, when that was $5 a month, that was a
Oh yeah.
pretty
That was a
good
steal.
deal for
Yeah.
the. Maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't the largest
Right. It was kind of
collection,
like
but
Peacock. When
mhm,
Peacock started, it was like $4 or $5 a month or something like that.
yeah.
And
Yeah, you just know it's not going to last with that. So, hey, you had fun with it while
yeah.
you could.
Yeah. I mean, even Disney started at $6 a month.
Oh yeah,
So,
no, it was really low.
and now they're way up there with, $12 a month or whatever.
Yep, yep. Gizmo is saying me and Corey will do a ranking of the James Bond films on Saturday. Worst to best. Maybe not this Saturday, man. We're fans of James Bond, and he's like, we should watch all of them
Rank them
and
all.
rank them. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I've,
I need a little while.
yeah, I've only seen the Daniel Craig Bond movies. I've not seen any of the Brosnans or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I grew up with the Daniel Craig ones, so
yeah,
those are the
yeah,
ones I've
no,
seen. But that's one
yeah,
of the
and
kind of cool things with that franchise is you see the different eras and stuff like that.
different generations of
Hmm.
Bond. Like, who's
Yeah,
your Bond, and you
yeah,
kind of maybe figure out what age the
yeah,
person is
yeah. Like I've seen
sometimes.
some clips from the Brosnan ones over the years. I just never went and watched the whole movies.
Yeah, I oh, it's been a little while back, but they had a really great deal one time, and I was a news sign up too, so I got an extra thing off of groove.com.
Hmm.
They have some good sales, but I have the full Blu-ray set
Yeah,
of
the
the
whole like
James Bond.
collection.
Well, it's
Yeah,
all the way up to the. It might not have the
it's
last
like the
two,
last one or two Craig
yeah,
ones.
but I also have a 4K collection of Daniel Craig's
Hmm.
Bonds, so I
Yeah,
have
that's
all
what I
of
have. I
them.
have the 4K of the Daniel Craig ones because those are the ones I've seen. Those are the ones I like. So
Yeah. No, those are good. So
yeah.
like me being younger, Roger Moore was like the Bond that was kind of going on at that time when
Hmm.
I started
Yeah.
watching them. So that was kind of mine. But I still remember people were like, "What do you mean Roger Moore? He's got to be Sean Connery," you know? And it's
Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah.
like what you get into.
Yeah.
We got where was it here? Uh, Huck's Pop Culture dropping in saying hi. So Huck was saying that sounds fun, Gizmo, with the Bond. But yeah, no, cool. Thanks for dropping in, Huck. Um, Fish was saying, yeah, I think they'd already have Glass Onion on physical, considering they have a new one coming out.
Yeah. Maybe
Seems
they're
like,
holding it. Maybe they're holding it for the next one or something like that. Sometimes Netflix will do that because they're doing. Have you watched the Arcane series on Netflix? It's an animated
I
series
have
on there.
not.
It's
No, I have
um it's
not.
based off of League of Legends, which I don't play League of Legends to know anything about it, but the series is fantastic, and I think Shout Factory got the rights to do a Blu-ray and a 4K release for
Okay.
season one of the show, and that's coming out this fall when season two comes out. So I'm excited about that because another, one of the few Netflix shows that gets a physical release.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what was so Spy Family that you were like, and we were just talking about that? Was that
Hmm.
Hulu or what was that
The
on? Or what's
it's
that?
it's some Japanese studio, but Crunchyroll is where I watched it, but they just have like streaming on it kind of thing.
So were you surprised that that got a physical release
No,
or?
most
Okay.
anime tends to because like Crunchyroll is kind of like the streaming distributor of
Okay.
anime, so they have stuff from a lot of different studios. So it's not necessarily that they have the exclusive rights to it. They're just like as far as streaming goes, they tend to have the biggest pool and collection of anime series that they stream.
So were you worried about the second season? Because I know like some people with their
I mean,
absolute.
I wasn't too concerned because it's a pretty
Okay.
popular
Okay.
show.
Okay.
Yeah, but every once in a while I'll get nervous of like, are they going to do one for this one? But I wasn't too concerned about that one.
I've had, and I can't name the series now, but I've heard people like saying that a collector's horror story is like in a series, you buy the
Hmm.
first season and then like the second season they don't get a physical release for
Yeah,
it. They're like,
yeah,
come on.
yeah. Well, like one of my favorite Netflix shows is Daredevil, the Charlie Cox
Oh yeah,
Daredevil
yeah.
series that they did, and they only ever released the first two seasons on Blu-ray. If you want
Okay,
season three, you got to bootleg it. And so, like, you could still buy season one and season two, but you can't buy season three anywhere. And it's like, I wish they just release it so you can get the, get the
the
complete
full thing.
collection for it. And who knows? Maybe now that Disney has it, they'll do it. Maybe they'll do something when the new Daredevil show comes out. And another one that I was always frustrated with was the AMC series Turn, Washington Spies. I don't know if you
Oh,
ever watched that one.
no.
It was a popular show maybe 10 years ago or so. It was all about the first American spy ring during the
Oh,
Revolutionary War. And it's a really great series. I believe they did 4 seasons, and you can buy season one on Blu-ray and seasons 2 and 3 on DVD, but they never released season 4 physically. So the only way you can watch it is on streaming or if you buy it digitally.
okay. No,
So I never collected
check
it because it's like if I'm going to get it, I want the whole thing.
right. You just know you couldn't get the whole thing,
Right? Yeah, it'd just kill me to see half the show
just a
sitting
couple,
on the
and you know
shelf.
all the
Yeah,
rest of them that are missing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
no, I could see that. Gizmo was saying to Huck, I've been nagging Corey for many years now to do the Bond collection, but he's way too scared to revisit the good old Moonraker. That was actually like I think that was probably the first Bond movie I saw was Moonraker. Like I might have said that before, but I always thought that one was kind of funny. Jeff was saying YouTube Premium has YouTube Music as part of the subscription. Yeah, so it can kind of help with the cost up it a
Hmm.
little bit. But do you partake in YouTube Premium?
I
Or
don't know.
yeah,
I had like a free trial of it when I bought a Google Home when they first came out. I had like
yeah,
a 6 month trial, and I enjoyed it then, but I wasn't like as big into YouTube as I am now, and
right.
didn't get used to it enough that felt like I, had to keep it to not have ads on YouTube and stuff. So I don't have YouTube Premium. I got a buddy who has YouTube TV, so he added me to his family plan, so I have that,
Oh yeah,
but
cool.
not YouTube Premium.
I do just because I watch it a lot, and
Yeah, you can kind of justify it.
oh
Yeah.
it the ads
I mean, the
start
amount of
driving me
time you
nuts.
save on ads with how many ads they're pushing
Oh
out
yeah,
these days. Sometimes you got to watch a minute or two of ads before you start a video these
I
days.
know. Yeah, and I'm like, no, I just want to watch it quick and
Hmm.
go on to the next thing. But
Yeah. Then you got the mid-roll ads in between videos and stuff too.
yep. So I broke down and I bought that one.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. Collector Moon Man saying he can't believe I hadn't seen Two Towers and Return of the King. I know. He watched the whole trilogy. I know a lot of people that watch that trilogy every year. That's an annual
Yeah.
thing that they
Yeah.
do.
I used to watch it once a year or so, but my wife, they're not movies she's interested in. So
Yeah,
now it's like every few years I'll go back and watch the trilogy again.
yeah. Well, you've definitely probably seen it quite a few times. So,
Oh yeah, enough times that I know it well.
yep. Um, what do we got here? Collector Moon Man saying with HBO Max, I get no ads because I can't stand having commercials, especially when House of the Dragons is on. Yeah, but that's where you just pick and choose.
Yeah, you pick
I
and choose
definitely.
which ones you want to do it for.
So like I have Amazon Prime, and they
Hmm.
rolled out the ads, and
Yeah, the
they
ads for even if you pay for it now.
yeah, but then they had an extra thing where it popped up, and like if you pay extra,
Yeah, you
I
give us
think
like $4 more a
yep.
month or whatever. Yeah.
But that was when I drew the line, and I was like,
Hmm.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think I use it enough, honestly,
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
justify. Even if
Yep.
it's only $4, it's
Yeah.
still
And honestly, we have Amazon Prime for the shipping mostly. It's just
that's
nice that the
us too.
streaming's there too. Like I do watch a good bit on Amazon Prime. They have a lot of great series like Invincible and Jack Reacher and stuff, but
Yep. Yeah, I had fun actually watching Reacher. That was a series that
yeah,
I
I love
got into a
Reacher.
little.
It's great. Season 3's I think is coming out this summer sometime.
Yeah, yeah, that was one. I don't follow a lot of series just because. I mean, it's not because I don't like them. I tend to lean towards movies. I think
Hmm.
more of the time, for whatever reason. But that was one series I ran through that one pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Hmm.
But he made Alan Richman, is it or
Alan
is
Richson.
Richson? I always say
Hmm.
I'm
Yep.
good at mispronouncing or telling people's wrong names and stuff. But
It's all right.
I did he did a great Reacher, I thought.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's fantastic as the character. Yeah.
And it sounded like more tied to the book.
Yeah, I just read the first book for the first time, and you couldn't not picture, like, even as someone who's seen the show first,
Yeah,
you couldn't picture like anyone else doing it the way he does it. It's
yeah.
perfect.
No, it'd be good with the season 3 coming out.
Yeah, they
Fi
just announced the season 2 good Blu-ray too, so I was getting nervous we might not get season 2 on Blu-ray.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when
Yeah.
it's like you're not guaranteed that each just
Yeah.
because they did one of the
Right. And
seasons.
Amazon, like, they pick and choose certain things. Like, I can't
Yep.
believe, even though there's a lot of controversy about it, I can't believe they haven't put the Rings of Power out on Blu-ray. That's like one of their biggest shows of all time.
Yeah, they
And
had a
they
lot of
haven't put
money
out a
behind that.
physical release for it. Yeah. So I'm wondering if they're like holding it for when season 2 comes out.
Okay.
So I'm kind of hoping that's the case. Because I really liked the show. I didn't think it was amazing. It's not as good as the trilogy, but it's still really enjoyable and really fun. So that's one I can't believe they haven't put out on Blu-ray. And then Invincible is another one that the animated superhero series that they have.
I heard so much about that, and I have not dug into that one
Yeah,
either.
that's a great one. I love that show.
How many? They have a few seasons
They have
out of
2
that.
seasons out
Two
now
seasons.
for that
Okay.
one. Yep. And I think they're like 10 episodes each or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be one that I needed. But I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Fish was saying I'm grandfathered in for Netflix at $6.99. Can't access some content unless I change my subscription. Yeah, that's probably their way of
Yeah, trying to get you to do it.
yep, push you. But man, yeah, those were the days. $7 for it.
Yeah. Well, even back when they first added streaming, you didn't even have to pay extra for it. It was just something they had. You could just do it.
Yep, I remember that because not everybody could even do it. You know, the
yeah,
internet
they
speeds.
just, I mean, they didn't have much. It was maybe
Yep.
several movies that you could do it with.
Yep.
But I still remember they had either the add to list button or the play button.
Yeah.
Besides the ones. Yeah.
Yep. No, I was in on that as well. And like we were saying, I did all the DVDs or Blu-rays getting mailed to me. And I remember that they added the streaming for free. But then I also remember that turning point where I got notification that they were going to start charging me more if I kept wanting to do the mail service.
Yeah.
And then at that point, luckily we had fast enough internet where the streaming was good enough that I canceled it at that point because I didn't want to pay more just for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I had so many DVDs mailed to me from that thing.
Oh yeah, that's probably part of the reason I'm as into movies as I am, as our family having the Netflix disc, the mail disc growing up.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Always had them. Like I said, you had the different plans of 1, 2, or like 3 DVDs at a time.
Yep.
And like we were talking about before, you just have your wish list.
Yeah.
As soon as you got one back, the next one was shipped out to you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Just a couple people saying, Collector Movie Man was saying the only streaming service right now is HBO Max, and having it all the way to the end of the year. I have enjoyed Max personally.
Yeah, I feel like if you're just gonna have one, Max is a good one to have.
They cover a lot of different
bases. I feel like they're overall the highest quality when it comes to their content.
Yeah. A lot of great movies, but there's a lot of TV series that they have on there. And now they're adding, it's kind of crazy to see how it's changing though too, because I was just watching a baseball game on there, a live baseball game.
Now with all the Discovery stuff, the edition they're doing,
got all that on there. But yeah, they cover a lot of bases with it. You need to see GoldenEye, Man with a Golden Gun, Goldfinger, From Russia with. Oh, you got a long list there, Austin.
Yeah, I've heard of all of those ones. I do. It's not that I'm against any of the other Bond movies. I just have never delved into them.
So many movies, so little time.
Yep. There's always going to be more movies than you have time.
Yep, and there's so many. There's a lot of Bond movies.
Yeah. There's 20, like 20 or 30 of them, I think. Yeah,
20 something. I want to say I could
like
be
25 or 26 maybe now.
That doesn't sound like out of the question. Yeah, it's.
I know for the Daniel Craig, there's 5 or 6, I think. So
at least 5. 5, or at least mine right here. Yep.
Yeah.
5 film collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the Bond one. I guess I can see that there.
Yep.
But maybe I could look. Well, I won't count them, but it's 5 in the Daniel Craig. But I enjoyed him as Bond though as well. But
yeah.
What do you think of the new? And I'm like blanking on his name now, but he was in Bullet Train, wasn't he? The new Bond that's going to be coming out. He was one of the brothers.
I thought they haven't confirmed it yet. Still.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's still a rumor.
Yeah, it's still rumors.
I actually got kind of excited. There was a rumor that flew around for a little bit. I don't know how serious, but and like I said, I'm bad at pronouncing names incorrectly. But Idris Elba, or
Idris Elba. Yeah, I heard rumors of him. Yeah,
I like him.
I like him
I,
a lot.
I
Yeah.
thought he would have been a really good one, but I don't know if they were trying to go a little younger to, you think
Yeah, I
five,
feel like they're trying to go a little younger still, because even Daniel Craig was one of the younger actors that they chose at the time for him.
and by the time they got done with the five
Hmm.
movies, he was
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
to
he's
where he
in. I think
was.
he's in his full late 40s now.
Yeah,
So I mean, he's not young as far as James Bond goes.
yeah. So yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see where they go
Hmm.
with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'm curious because they kind of like went the route of let's do something new and fresh for James Bond. Like I'm like I've said, I haven't seen any of the other Bond movies, but I know enough about them just because of the pop culture impact that they have of that they were doing something different with the Daniel Craig ones. So I'm curious how they're going to make that fresh again for a new interpretation of the character. Like you can't just pick someone young and have it be, high quality technology kind of thing without it feeling like the Daniel Craig or the Mission Impossibles or something like that.
yeah, no, I'll be interested to see where that
Hmm.
goes. Gizmo, he's just throwing out there that he feels the only Craig Bond movie that's good is Casino
I
Royale.
mean, that's my favorite of them.
It's a really good one.
Yeah,
It's a really good one.
yeah.
But you're right, they did a different, little different
More,
twist
yeah,
with
more
them.
gritty kind of
Mm-hmm.
kind of take on it.
Mm-hmm. A little more uh, physical action instead of
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
suave documented
right. Yeah,
situations or
more gritty kind
the
of thing. Yeah.
gadgets. And
Hmm.
but I liked it. No, it was definitely good. Let's see here. I'll tell you what. I'll try to run through these really quick. I know I've been keeping you for a bit here, so we can kind of start wrapping it up. Whenever we want to, just so I'm
Okay.
not keeping. I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah,
But I'm kind of known
yeah,
to.
that's true. Since it's a little later for me than you.
Yes, well, that's what I mean. I want to be
Yeah.
respectful of that,
Hmm.
for sure. But I just wanted to. There was a couple other people that jumped in, and I just wanted to say hi. So we had Culture Trini jumping in. Hey Trini, say still hoping Netflix will release the other seasons of Stranger Things.
Yeah, I keep hearing it's coming from reputable sources, so I'm hoping that's true.
Yeah, cool. I don't know if I've seen this one you before in here, but your cult boyfriend ads are out of control lately. Some of them can be. Oh, with YouTube, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I broke down. I had it for a while, and I decided to cut the premium,
Yeah.
and I don't want to get into one side or the other. I don't care. I'm not pushing that, but I think it was leading
Hmm.
up to an election season, and I broke
You
down,
were
and
just done with it.
I was
Yeah.
like, I'm paying for it, and it was
Yeah.
both sides. So I'm not
Hmm.
I'm not going there with
Yeah.
anything.
It's
But
those unskippable ads
oh, and
and
there was it just felt like there were so many of them, and I was like, nope, take my
yeah.
money,
Hmm.
take my money.
Yeah.
Um, who is yeah? Jeff was saying who has Prime for the streaming only. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they offer it.
They
They offer it.
do. I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious. No, I'm definitely the shipping is the big thing for me. But
Hmm. Yeah.
Trini, I don't know if that was I bootleg it all. I
Like,
don't know.
oh, hey, I've been moving slowly in that direction lately for certain things. I got a few bootlegs on the way. That's currently. I'll
Yeah.
show them off at the end of the month.
Uh, oh yeah, I'll be looking forward to see that. Yeah, for sure. Fish was saying Max has some great documentaries as well. Yeah, I'll
Hmm.
watch a good documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's so much. That's the thing. You probably could cancel everything and just keep one streaming service and
Right.
still not
And just
get through
focus on
everything,
it. Yeah. Hmm.
and
I've
still have.
considered that, like just canceling all but maybe one or two just to actually like intentionally focus on all the stuff that's on there you want to watch. Cause I mean, we have 5 or 6 services between my wife and I, and there's always 5 or 6 things on all my watch lists, and they just sit there for months and months and months sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. And I thought about that too, where if you canceled all, just had one, dig into that for a month, and then
Hmm.
if there's more you want to see of that month, or
Yeah.
cancel it and go to a different one and
Yeah.
really dig into that one for a month and
Hmm.
just kind of rotate through some of them.
Yeah.
Um, I know I got in the habit of there was a time where I was subscribing to way too many of them, and I know for as much as I watched on some of them, I could have
Hmm.
probably saved money just renting a couple movies instead of
Right.
actually having that
Hmm.
streaming service.
Right. Yeah.
For as much as I didn't watch on there,
Hmm.
but But yeah, so no, I like I said, I know I kept you longer here. I appreciate you hanging out.
Oh yeah, it was a great time.
This is fun, and I'd love to. Yeah, we'll have to do it again, and maybe we, like you said, maybe we could do a fun wrap up when I finally get around watching the Lord of
Yeah,
the
the Lord
Rings,
of the Rings. Yeah.
and we can hit on that. And uh, no, that'd be fun to do because I'm looking forward to watching the other ones on that. But so you were kind of hitting at some stuff you have coming up. Do you have anything else in the works you want to throw out there for people to watch
I
out
mean, I'm
for?
not doing. I'm almost kind of going week to week right now, just
Oh,
because
sure,
we've
yeah,
been busy with the summer and stuff. So
yeah,
I always try to keep like a running list of just some ideas for videos in various stages, whether it's just an idea for one thing or an idea for like multiple things within a video. So the summers are always just tricky because we're busy traveling and
oh, sure,
just enjoying being outdoors and that
getting
kind of thing.
outside.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so once we get like back into the routine of a regular school year kind of thing for my wife, I usually try to like plan out things a little bit more, and I have
Yeah,
more time to brainstorm ideas and stuff. So I don't really have anything too major on the horizon. And then once that kind of comes back, I want to try to do a little bit more live streams once in a while, just
yeah,
to get like you said, you do a lot of live stream stuff, but you
yeah,
want to get back to videos, and
yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
want to do the opposite. Like I enjoy
yeah,
doing the videos, but it's fun to do streams too, whether it's by yourself or with friends too.
yeah. No, I get, like I said, I got bit by the live stream bug where I was like, it's
Hmm.
fun to get to, like
Yeah.
tonight, get to know you a little bit better
Hmm.
than, our chats we had before. And then
Yeah.
I love seeing people jumping out here
Yeah.
and talking too.
It's nice
So
too because once you're done with the live, the video's on your channel. You don't have to edit it. You don't have
yeah,
to do
right.
anything.
So maybe I'm just being lazy. It's like, I feel like I can talk easier just conversationally like this
Hmm.
with you than me looking at my camera by myself.
Right. Hmm.
I feel like I stumble more. I can, and maybe people are a little more forgiving in a live stream like this. So when I fumble
Hmm.
over my words and I say
Right.
the
It's like, well,
wrong
it's a live
person's
stream. Like
name,
things
yeah,
happen. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
But if it's a pre-recorded one, maybe they'll
Yeah.
think a little differently. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, but no, everybody that's watching, definitely check Austin's stuff out. I have both the links should be in there, the YouTube and the Instagram, in the description. If not, I will make sure, but I'm just looking. Nope, they're both out there. Make sure to sub up to him and check out his stuff.
Yeah.
I have
And
had so
Letterbox
much.
too, because I try to like write a
Oh,
lot of
sorry.
reviews and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I can try
Yeah.
to add that one later
Yeah.
too.
'Cause like
I'm
I said,
always good
I
about.
review like everything I watch in Letterbox. So if you want like in depth my thoughts on movies, Letterbox for sure, because I always write a review for everything I watch.
I know I'm following you on that, but what do
Mhm.
you, what do they find you under on
I
Letterboxd?
believe. Let me see. Let me look it up right here.
Because I know I'm following you,
Um,
but
what's my
or I'm
profile
positive
in
I
here?
am. I've been.
It's his disciple 319 is
Okay.
my handle on there.
Yeah, cool.
But
Yeah.
it's linked in all of my YouTube videos, so you can
Okay.
get to it from any of my YouTube videos too.
Easy to find it that way
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, no, it's always fun to have things like this. Yeah, like I said, I'm doing the live stream things here. We were talking about, I think we hit on this a little bit earlier, but anyway, Gizmo that was in the channel and Anthony that was in earlier. Tuesday, we're going to be doing a live stream on Gizmo's channel. We're doing a comparison of Judge Dredd and Dredd.
Oh yeah, but see, I haven't seen the old one. I've only seen the Dread one.
It's a bit different. I had to rewatch
Mhm.
it. I just rewatched it tonight
Yeah.
because I hadn't seen it forever.
Hmm.
But it's a bit different. But we did one earlier of RoboCop, the
Yeah.
original and the remake, and so it's kind of
Hmm.
fun to kind of check those out and
Yeah.
talk about them.
Yeah.
But
Do a comparison kind of thing on them. Yeah.
yeah, but well, I tell you what, I kept you long enough tonight. Long enough tonight. I
Yeah.
appreciate all the time on this and everybody that's been popping in. I appreciate it, and anybody watching on the replay. So thank you so much again for
Yeah.
hanging
Thanks
out
for
with
having
me
me. It
for a
was a
little
great
bit.
time. It was
Yeah.
fun. We'll definitely do it again.
Absolutely. I'm down for it anytime. Like I said, it doesn't take too much to twist my arm to talk about movies for a bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hmm.
But yep. So everybody, thanks for joining in. We're going to end it for tonight. I appreciate all the time, and we'll see all of you here real soon.